Hello there, my friends. Welcome back to The Random Show, starring I, your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 278 of The Random Show with I, your host, Agostino Zinga, and I hope you're doing well wherever this bloody, lovely random show may find you. I hope you are doing swimmingly. How am I? All good, all things considered. All good, all things considered. I did attempt to try to watch UFC 305. I tried to stay up, but my body died on me. My soul died on me. I've been having some pretty good consistent gym days. I think this past weekend I went like 5 days in a row. So I think because of that, and because I'm actually eating nice, nutritious foods, my body is dying a lot sooner. Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed increasing your exercise, actually eating good food, and most importantly, not drinking as much coffees? Honestly, bros and girls, bros and sisters, I'm so upset at myself. I'm now unable to drink as many coffees as I used to. Can I confess to you something? I used to drink. Can I confess you something? Only between me and you. I used to drink up to, sometimes more than, 8 cups of coffee per day. Luckily for me at that time, I wasn't doing the good stuff, right? I've got a little coffee machine here. I wasn't making my shit on a coffee machine. I was using powdered coffee. Good one, don't get me wrong, but not the best. Luckily, because usually the actual one that you have to grind from the beans is usually a lot more stronger. Higher quality, but usually stronger. But I used to drink 8 cups of coffee per day. Now, of those 8, 4 of them were hot. The other 4 I would make into cold brews. And I'd be backing them. You guys know, when I was on stream, I'd always be having a fucking cold brew. Going fucking crazy with the fucking cold brews. Which might explain that, and my ketamine addiction, right? And my MDMA addiction, right? Plus my cocaine addiction. Plus my ecstasy addiction. You can only imagine how often I was staying up. I was up, you know? So that probably explains why I was able to be up at crazy hours. But today, or yesterday, honestly, it wasn't even that late. 305 UFC usually starts around, the prelims start around maybe 11, if not 12 a.m. my time in the UK. Main card maybe starts around 1. It's not that late. I've stayed up and done it plenty of times easily. And I swear to God, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was like sleeping all the way through. Then I woke up randomly at like 5 a.m. this morning. I checked my laptop. I checked Tapology, my favorite UFC website, to see what happened. And still there was no result for the Dricus du Plessis v Israel Adesanya fight. So then I thought, oh shit, it's still on. So when I logged on and checked the streams, I think I logged on and it was maybe round 2 or round 3. But immediately when I logged on to see what round it was, all I saw was something that broke my heart. Cause all I saw there, I saw Dricus du Plessis looking like he was blowing out of his ass. Looking very heavy, looking very sluggish. Then I saw Israel moving pretty decently well. But the thing that was concerning me, and again, I didn't watch the fight from the start, so please bear with me. My opinion is very casual and also very like in between the fight. I didn't watch it from the beginning. But when I started to watch it, I saw Dricus looking very tired and looking gassed out and looking like he's blowing through his ass. I saw Izzy looking very confident, but every time a tired and gassed out and fatigued Dricus du Plessis walked towards Israel and punched him or kicked him, it really wobbled him. He was looking very worried. And every time Israel was moving backwards, he didn't look too good. I think Israel looks better when he's standing in the middle of the cage or he's coming towards you. He doesn't look good off the back foot. Or, well, moving backwards, sorry. I was like, oh, shit. I don't think this is going to go well. And again, I'm not an expert. But immediately when I saw that, I was like, hold on. Dricus looks tired, but he looks like he's winning. Israel looks good, but every time he gets hit, he like wobbles. And for some reason, whatever punches that Israel was hitting Dricus with weren't doing as much damage as I thought they should be. Some of the body shots were maybe giving Dricus something to worry about, but he looks like he was eating them fairly well. And I was thinking to myself, oh shit. And he's a good grappler too, right? He's got good grappling. He's pretty decent on the game. And I was like, oh, on the ground. I was like, it's going to be... I swear to God, my immediate thinking, and I woke up. I woke up in a fucking black man haze. I think I woke up partially because my spirit told me a white man was beating up a black man. So I woke up like in a panic. Like, oh. Do you know what I mean? I woke up like scared. I was like, oh shit, some white guy's going to be the king of Africa. I was worried. So I woke up, I checked the screen, and I was like, oh no. This white guy's gonna win, isn't it? He's fucking Izzy up. This guy's fucking Izzy up. And I've always said about Dricus du Plessis, I personally don't like him, his fighting style. He's not good on the eye. But if you watch him fight, that motherfucker can fight. That motherfucker can fight. He's not good on the eye. He's not aesthetically pleasing. He's got like knock knees. He's got this weird guard. His shoulders, how he stands. He just looks like, you know, all over the place. He looks like a bizarro version of fucking GPS, of Joe St. Pierre, GSP, sorry. I swear to God, Dricus du Plessis looks and fights like a bizarro version of fucking Joe St. Pierre. So whatever you like in Joe St. Pierre, the suaveness, the sleekness, you know, the timing, you know, the perfection, Dricus doesn't have that. It's kind of all over the place, but it works. It fucking works, bro. Because that guy, I don't know if he was faking it. He could be doing that whole like drunken monkey thing, right? Right? Where you like, you know, you pretend. Maybe he was faking it. But when I tuned in on round 2 or 3, he looked tired. He looked like if you pushed him over, he might not get back up again. He looked so tired. But still, he was coming forward. Left hook. Big looping right hand. Fucking body kicks. Leg kick to the leading leg. Still giving Izzy things to worry about. I was like, wow, how is he doing this? How does he look like he just ran a marathon? And then he's still able to punch and to kick. How? But the most concerning thing for me in that fight, as a black man, as an African man, I saw a nigga give up. Which is understandable. Given Izzy's run, and given the amazing fights he's given us, I did see a nigga give up. I saw a nigga give up because the way Dricus took his back, that sequence, yes, it was, you know, smooth and whatever, but that wasn't high-level BJJ. Let's not lie. That wasn't high-level grappling by BJJ. That was some basic shit that you do to people like me, to like non-white, I'm not even a white belt. I just come in and you just exalt me, trip me up, take my back, boom. That's something that you do to like a guy who's off the street. He made Izzy look like some, and that for me felt more like Izzy gave up. Now again, Dricus is a fucking killer because he's tired and his body went into fucking autopilot. As soon as you got the trip, got the back, boom, bam, boom, it was over. I love that about him. Like he's very effective. He doesn't waste time, right? Even though you could kind of say, but whatever, you know what I mean. When he smells blood, Dricus du Plessis, he fucking goes for the win. But God, man. The UFC is a very infuriating sport, innit? Because I swear to God, it was just the other year, Izzy was like spanking man. Just the other year. Just a few months ago, Izzy was batting man up. He did the unthinkable. He beat fucking Alex Pereira in the rematch. And then suddenly, it fucking flips. And now he's looking washed. And I was thinking to myself today, I was thinking to myself this, right? You know what's funny about the UFC? Because people say it's like compounding damage, right? Over time, you know, the body just like can't take it anymore. And maybe you lose the hunger, whatever it may be. Cool. But I was thinking to myself, you know what's funny? If Robert Whittaker was to face Israel Adesanya now, I'm confident Robert Whittaker beats Izzy. Even though Izzy absolutely demolished Robert Whittaker when he faced him, you know, what was it, 18 months ago or so. So somehow, Robert Whittaker went through like a bad patch in his career where he was getting beaten up and shit. Then he gets back on form. And now the guy that was champion is looking like he can't get back on form. How? How is that possible? Please someone tell me how that's possible. How does the UFC work like that? I don't get it. It's such a hard sport to fucking predict, really. And maybe it's a hard sport to manage as an athlete. Like, when do you really bow? Like, when do you bow out as an athlete? When do you decide to kind of hang it up? Because sometimes if you don't hang it up quick enough, the game can come for you quickly. And by the time you realize what's going on, you've already lost like 3 in a row, 5 in a row. So I'm going to Izzy's record now, right? Let's go through Izzy's record, because I'm just shocked by how like quick this has happened. But let's go through Izzy's record quickly. Well, let's say Izzy's record from like, let's say 2020. Oh my God, look at that. Look at those wins. God almighty. Let's do, oh what? Hold on, Robert Whittaker was 2019. Oh no, okay, cool, 2022, cool. My bad. Cool. Okay, let's do 2020. So March 2020, beats Yoel Romero. Not the best fight, beats him. Paulo Costa, impressive victory. He went up in weight class against Jan Blachowicz, and to be fair, he was outclassed, but still takes a lot of guts, a lot of fucking courage to do that sort of thing, because Jan was massive compared to him. Great grappling, like it was a bit of a uneven fight in that respect. Vittori, I thought he beat the brakes off her personally. Robert Whittaker beat the brakes off personally. Jared Cannonier made him look average personally. He's, I'm not really a big fan of Jared Cannonier, but still, he beat him up. Alex Pereira got absolutely demolished. Alex Pereira the second time, it was a tight fight and he got the knockout. I wouldn't say he was dominating, but it was a tight fight, he got the knockout. But he did come back. It was like that was like his own personal boogeyman, right? He'd been beating him in like, what's that kickboxing thing they were in before? He'd been, he's kind of been that guy that's always been in the back of his mind, that always has his number. So he beat Alex Pereira. And then suddenly, you're facing Sean Strickland, who a lot of people would say is probably not as good as a fighter as Alex Pereira. He's probably, I don't know. He probably occupies that same Dricus du Plessis category where they just don't look aesthetically pleasing, but they're really effective fighters. And then he gets absolutely spanked. Sean Strickland absolutely spanked my guy Izzy. Like, it was so sad. I'm not going to lie. I felt sadder watching Izzy get beat by Sean Strickland than I did see him get subbed by Dricus du Plessis. Because I was a non-Sean Strickland believer. I didn't know he was that good. So it hurt my feelings seeing this guy just like stand there and box Izzy's face off. Just keep moving towards him, not give him any space the entire fight. It hurt my feelings because you could see Izzy's soul break. Like, Sean Strickland broke Izzy's soul. Dricus du Plessis, I thought was even though maybe Izzy was losing on the cards, I'm not too sure, I didn't see it. But, he had some good moments in the Dricus du Plessis fight before he got subbed. He could probably rationalize that a lot better because, mistakes happen. He probably turned his back. He let fucking Dricus get some shots in, took his back too easily, blah, 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 blah. But that Sean Strickland fight for me was the big warning signal about Izzy's career. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why does he look like that? How did the guy that beat Alex Pereira the way he did look like this against somebody that people wouldn't think would hang with Alex Pereira in the fight? What's going on here? It makes no sense. Like, in my mind, it makes no sense. I'm sure the UFC people who really analyze the sport can tell me that they probably saw signs of Izzy falling off and not being the guy from Robert Whittaker times, probably. But from my layman terms, UFC fighters, they make no sense. Like, they make no sense. Like, now he's like on the brink of retiring. Like, what? What is going on? What is going on? Honestly, what the fuck is going on? This man might be on the brink of retiring. How? How, Sway? How? But, yo. Yeah, big up Dylan B. But yes, congrats to Dricus du Plessis, man. Congrats to Dricus du Plessis. Because no matter what you say, no matter what I say, no matter how much I dislike his style, that guy can fight. Let's be fair. That motherfucker can fucking fight. And let's go through fucking Dricus du Plessis' record. That guy can fucking fight. That ability to just keep swinging and banging and hitting your opponent and giving them all sorts of problems. Kicks, punches, takedowns while you're gassed out. Come on. Look at that record. Come on. Look at that record. Since he's been in the UFC, he hasn't lost. Since he's been in the UFC, he has not lost. Since he's been in the UFC. To be fair, I think his best performance, yeah, might have been Darren Till, like absolute damaging. He battered Darren Till.
Yeah, he battered Darren Till. That might have been one of the fights that led to Till, like, quote unquote, retiring from the UFC. Dricus is an animal, man. Dricus is an animal. That nigga is a fucking animal. He's a tough motherfucker. He's an awkward motherfucker. And no one seems to be able to get his number. Really and truly. He's a hard one to approach. Fuck, man. Yeah, big up Dylan B. Big up Dylan B. It's an old tired expression. It's hard to get up and train in satin sheets. Do you think that's it though? Do you think that's it? Do you think that's the main issue? When you're a champion, because I think the UFC set up that way, right? With the pay, it's fucking shit. But if you're a champion, you get paid well. You earn a lot from like endorsements and shit. You earn a lot from like sponsorships and shit. You get better cuts and shit. You get better rates just in general. So you get better pay overall. So do you think that's it? Do you think these guys go from making like 100 grand a year, then suddenly making like 2 mil per fight, if not more, and things change very quickly? Now suddenly going to run a 5K every other day doesn't seem like the most fun thing to do. Suddenly now go and do 2 a days doesn't seem like that fun to do. I think maybe Dylan's right, you know. You go from making like minimum wage after you paid all, because imagine 100 grand per year for UFC fight probably isn't enough per year. After you paid all your trainers and your gym, your gear, blah, 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 blah. You go from making that to making like 5 mil. You buy yourself a nice car. You maybe pay off the mortgage for your parents. You get yourself a condo in Miami. You start fucking some OnlyFans girls. Maybe a couple of ring card girls. You get on a podcast. You get good sponsorship from like Prize Pick or something for your podcast. They're paying you now 30 grand a month, something that you were making per year. They're giving you per month from a podcast that you do once per fucking month with your best friend or something. You got a YouTube channel, and I think Izzy's YouTube channel. Izzy's YouTube channel, figure this out. Izzy's YouTube channel from AdSense probably makes just as much amount of money as probably he first made fighting in UFC. He does that from the comfort of his home in New Zealand, surrounded by his brother and his friends, just watching fights, critiquing and whatever. Ooh! Oh wow! Look at that, Mr. Bob. Izzy owns. Okay, cool. Dylan is right. Dylan B, I apologize. You're 100% right. Izzy owns 19 properties in New Zealand. On top of everything else that he does, he's very media. What do you call it? He's good at that media game. He goes on a lot of podcasts. People want to have him on, you know. So I wonder, maybe that's the cause. Maybe that is part of the game. But I also think aside from that, champions just don't have a long run in the UFC. Like really and truly, you don't really have that long of a run. Especially because the UFC, unlike any other like combat fight organization and shit, they don't let you get away with like dumb fights. Like you have to fight the best all the time. You have to consistently defend your belt against the best all the fucking time. And I think that is probably the reason why we don't get champions hanging around for ages. Because the best are even the guy that you beat, okay, he goes back to the drawing board. He gets a free fight win streak. Cool. Some prospect, free fight win streak. Some guy from another promotion, free fight win streak. Everybody's like chomping at the bit to take your head off. Because they also know that's where the money's at. You become champion, even if you defend it once, that can change your life completely. Or maybe, let's entertain this conversation. Maybe Izzy was never that good. That's another hard one to have. Maybe Izzy wasn't as good as we thought he was. Maybe we overhyped some of the finishes. Maybe we overhyped some of the fights. Maybe. I don't think so personally, but I'm just questioning everything because my head can't my head couldn't make sense of what I was seeing on my laptop screen. I was seeing one guy that looked like he was tired, but he was still fighting well and going forward. Then I saw another guy that was doing all the things to look like he was good, like stand here and fight, and then 20 seconds later he's getting choked. Like, how does, like, you know what I mean? Stand here and fight, and then 20 seconds later he's getting choked. Like, what? Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense in the fight world, man. Nothing makes sense in the fight world. I swear to God. But congrats to Dricus du Plessis. Congrats to him. I'm eager to see his next fight now. I'm eager to see if he's gonna develop or improve. I'm eager to see what if somebody's got an answer to what he does. So far we haven't seen it. So that's gonna be curious to see how he's able to kind of defend against somebody having an answer against him. If he gets tested really, because I also feel like he's had like close fights, but I don't feel like he's been tested, you know? That's the thing as well. So he might be a formidable champion because I don't think he's been like properly tested. I don't feel like he's had to go into the deep waters to really win. He's had tight fights, but I don't think he's been tested really. So I'm curious to see who's gonna end up doing that for him. But big up Dricus du Plessis. It was also nice. It was also nice to see them make up at the end. Really beautiful because there was a lot of like venom, a lot of like mean things said to each other. But you know, I hope it's just fight game promotion shit. Just get over it, whatever it may be. So that was good to see. And obviously, they went through this little song and dance where Izzy gave Dricus a customized jacket, I think, as well. Let me play that video for you quickly, and then we'll move on from this blood clot. Let's go back there. It's a little jacket that Izzy gave to, what is it? Let's see. Dricus du Plessis and Israel share an incredible backstage moment after UFC 305 and embrace each other's families.
I know your arms are long as fuck. I just told you so.
I'll get you. This one is from a marketing thing.
Yeah,
I'll put one for you. Thank you.
I know you said you wanted to come out of the lands and fight warriors from the lands. That's a reminder.
Thank you so much, man.
Enjoy. Have a good one. Enjoy celebrations. Let's go, boys.
Respect. African champion. Of course, man.
That's nice, man. That's nice, isn't it? That's nice to see. I'm not gonna lie. That's nice to see. Good to see them make up and everything's okay to a certain extent. Do you know what I mean? That's nice to see. That is nice to see. What are you guys telling me in the stream chat? Izzy still can't solve the Sean Strickland problem. Yep. Oh, big up Queso Moses. Well gone, my guy. I hope he gets the hungriest, healthiest version of Khamzat. Yeah, one can only hope. One can only hope, my friend. I think losing to Strickland broke him. It was a fight that was supposed to win. Yeah, very good point, Dylan. And he went into that. I'm a big Izzy fan, but I think he went into that too confident, too cocky. He took Sean Strickland too lightly. He was talking about the fights after Sean Strickland. It's like, bro, like the UFC is not a joke league. You have to approach everybody with respect. Like you have to, you know, and just in general anyway in the fights, you have to just, whoever your opponent is, respect them, win that fight, and then deal with the person after the fact. He took that fight too lightly, and Sean Strickland made him fucking pay. Shades Carl, Izzy had a long streak. Yep, we did it though. Anderson Silva, John Jones, GSP. Oh no, I think nowadays, my friend. I think that's what I'm saying. I think now, just there's just like maybe I'm talking my ass, but I think it's just stronger competition across the board. In most weight classes, there's just strong competition, you know, and there's just fighters finding like their second or third wind. So it's kind of hard. Like no one's really down and out really. They just need a good couple of rounds to win, and then suddenly they're back to challenging you for a title again. And you have to then go again into the fucking deep well to try and defend yourself. So I think maybe in the past, those champions like Anderson Silva, John Jones, and GSP were long-lasting champions because I don't think the standard of fighters was as good as it is now. Because maybe the standard of fighters isn't like world-class as it once was. Like there's not a lot of world-class champions. But I think overall, everyone's on like the same-ish level. On their day, anyone could be anybody, if that makes sense. That's what I feel like in the UFC roster now. I feel like the UFC roster is the most balanced it's been. There's no like person who's like head and shoulders above anybody. It's like everybody's kind of like, you know, if you fuck up and you lose concentration, anybody can fuck it, you know, can turn your lights off, essentially. But I could be wrong. It is what it is. 12 is great for the door. His jacket's tight as fuck. But yeah, what can you do, man? What can you do? Big up Dricus du Plessis, and let's see what Israel does. He did announce at the end of the fucking fight that he's not leaving. That was pretty funny to see him do that because I think everyone was assuming he's gonna retire. So I guess, you know, he kind of turned that around. So big up to him for doing that. Big up to him for doing that. Okay, cool. Moving on. Can I do something unexpected here? Can I defend Logan Paul for a minute? It feels like there's like a I won't say that there's like a concerted effort from the deep state to make sure Logan Paul doesn't become a billionaire. Because we know what he wants to do, right? He wants to make Prime into the #1 drink, and then he wants to sell it and cash out and become a billionaire. That's always been his kind of dream. Bit of a mad dream to have, but hey, everyone's got dreams. But it feels like every other week, every other month, there's somebody popping out trying to sue him for Prime. And I'm thinking to myself, is this a sign that the deep state only wants certain people to be rich, like billionaire rich? Or is it more of a sign that because he's not complying with people behind the scenes, because technically he's like a YouTuber influencer type of person, and in that scene of being an YouTuber, in that industry, sorry, of being a YouTuber influencer, you don't ever have to like grease anybody's palms. That's not how business work is run. You don't get fleeced like you do in the music industry. It's just basically you by yourself. You can get yourself paid however much you want to get paid. The content's up to you. There's no one taking money out of your pocket. There's no like shifty manager or agent or like system of getting money. You know what I mean? It's all kind of you. So I think I'm trying to think is maybe these YouTubers, when they start going into these type of businesses, they have this mindset where everything is for them, but they don't know that in the corporate world, in that business world, to become a billionaire, you don't become a billionaire on your own. You probably can become a multi-millionaire by yourself without involving anybody, without greasing anybody's palms, without handing out a couple brand envelopes. You could probably do that by yourself. But when it comes to billionaire status, that rare air, I think you do need to hand out a couple brand envelopes. You do need to key a little bit. Go to fucking galas and shit. You know, laugh at these dumb, old guy jokes and shit. And maybe because Logan is refusing to do that, and so like doing his own thing, these motherfuckers are like coming for him, like consistently coming for him. Because if any parent, if there's any parent out there that honestly thinks, or that honestly thought Prime was healthy, you're a fucking idiot, and you deserve your kids to get taken away from you. If you're a parent out there, and you honestly thought Prime was a good way to get your kids fucking hydration and get them recharged for the day in school and shit in kindergarten, you need to be locked up. Prime was never healthy. It was never, all you had to do was sip Prime once to know straight away that whole like no sugar thing was bullshit. That shit is sugary as hell. That shit is sweet as hell. If it's not sugar, what is it then? If it's not sugar inside that shit, what is it then? So all these mums and dads complaining, oh, Prime, it's got these forever chemicals. It's not good for my baby. It's not good for my baby. Well, duh. Give your baby a bottle of water, mate. That'll be better for your baby. Not a bottle of Prime. You can't blame Logan Paul for selling colourful drinks, hyping them up and shit, having ice show speed, do backflips, big shows. That's what kids want. Loud, colourful shit. But it's never meant to be healthy, motherfucker. Come on, man. Anyway, let's read the article about all the suits happening regarding Logan Paul. Business Insider. Logan Paul's Prime Hydration has been hit with a string of lawsuits. Here are the details and what's up next. So let's hear Wagwan, because I personally think Logan Paul needs to be defended. Not against fucking CoffeeZilla, because what he did against CoffeeZilla was fucking bullshit and scummy, and he's probably going to pay a high price for that. And it's just not good for his like public persona and reputation. Dumb move. But when it comes to Prime, I think he deserves to be defended, because it feels like these billionaire motherfuckers are basically closing the door on him, or holding the door closed for him. Let's see. Logan Paul's energy drink company Prime Hydration is involved in a slew of lawsuits. They variously allege breach of conduct, blah, blah, blah. Logan Paul's Prime Hydration, co-founded by a controversial YouTuber and his fellow creator turned boxer KSI, is fighting a string of lawsuits. The beverage company was sued this month by a bottler, Refresco, which accused Prime of cutting off its contract and failing to plan or place minimum place order of any bottles once sales tanked. Okay, this is not good. This is not good. Agreeing to buy a certain amount of bottles, but then reneging on it because your sales have gone down is very bad practice. Because you'd imagine, again, I'm not part of the bottling industry, I'm not part of the hydration or drink industry, but I would imagine in that particular industry, like most industries, it's controlled by like 3 to 5 companies. They control the actual functioning of that industry. So there's only three or five companies that do the bottles, that do the labeling, the lids, whatever. It's probably controlled by 3 or 4 companies. So if you piss those motherfuckers off, you could potentially fuck yourself in the long term. If you piss any of those people off, they could blackball you from the industry completely, and there's no one else to pick up the slack for you. It continues. Defenders represented to Alfresco, the sales volume would remain robust and continue to grow. Over the course of the year following the contract signing, however, the formerly hot sales of Prime drinks cooled markedly. Wow, is that what happens? You have to share your sales figures with a company that makes... What? That business is wild. You have to share your sales figures to the bottling company so that they know you're not playing around. They know you're for real. You can't just pay the money and get them to send the bottles. Shit. The complaint claims Prime owes Refresco nearly $68 million. It's a far from only lawsuit Prime is facing. Business Insider counted 8 lawsuits in which Prime was a defendant. The lawsuits range from accusations of breach of conduct to class action suits that accuse Prime of mislabeling amount of caffeine in its drinks. Lawsuits could spell the trouble for Prime, which is flying high not too long ago. After launching in 2022, Jesus Christ, it only launched in honestly, Logan Paul kind of has to look at himself in the mirror and realize that maybe he's the problem. This drink only launched in 2022, and look at the amount of drama that's associated with his brand and himself. So much ill will against him, especially for the CoffeeZilla thing. Like he's always gonna look bad in that situation. And then this, rotted. Prime became one of the hottest drinks on the market, thanks to 2 stars who knew how to market the product to their devoted fans, as well as several limited edition flavors. Supply surged well ahead of demand, leaving shelves bare and causing kids to start playing to start a playroom black market for the beverage. As recently in November, the brand is still seemed to be thriving. Bloomberg reported that the sales were tracked to exceed 1.2 billion. Yo, Logan Paul's a piece of shit in it. You've got a company running at the moment, outside of all the stuff that he does personally, that's generating $1.2 billion in sales, and you can't pay back the guys from that fucking CryptoZoo shit. You can't pay them back. Just as a gesture of goodwill, just pay them back. Easy peasy. Nah, scumbag behavior. The brand has not reported sales information, but some signs seem to point to the drop in demand. In the UK, the drink has been spotted on a sale at several vendors. Estimates for the Nielsen IQ for the UK sales in the first quarter of the year from the Euromonitor and the US online sales of the first half suggest demand has fallen off considerably from last year. Yeah, it has. I've seen it myself. I've noticed way more shops, especially like a Tesco, even like a Poundland. I think I saw it we've got like, I guess it's a Poundland. It's like a Dollar Tree. We've got like Dollar Tree type stores in the UK. And I even saw a bunch of Prime energy drinks there for sale. Like a lot of them, like stacks and stacks and stacks. And before, you'd never find them. You'd only find them in like specialist shops that kind of imported like American sweets and shit. So yeah, it's definitely gone down a bit. I think the dispute with Refresco is ultimately linked to this sales forecast no longer aligning with the investment of production capacity that they made at the time, said Howard Telford. There is a big risk that this turns into a short-term viral fad unless the product itself can serve a real consumer need. The representative for Paul declined to comment. Read about the major lawsuits facing Prime in alphabetical order. So yeah, look at all the lawsuits they have here. Castillo versus Prime. In 2023, Elizabeth Castillo, a California resident, filed a class action suit seeking $5 million, claiming that Prime contained PFAS, known as forever chemicals, that can cause health problems. The suit claims that Prime falsely advertised a product, hydration beverage, containing the health benefits from minerals and vitamins. Cesar Baccarella versus Prime. In this case, Cesar Baccarella, a Florida-based owner of the line sports supplement and apparel called Alpha Prime and protein brownies called Prime Bites, accuses Prime of trademark infringement. The lawsuit claims that the similar nature of the branding confused customers. Really? Wow. High-Tech Performance Pharmaceuticals. In this trademark filed in June, High-Tech Performance Pharmaceuticals, a Kentucky-based company, accused Prime Hydration of unfair competition and infringement. So many people are suing them, man. It's quite wild, isn't it? So yeah, I'm wondering, has Logan Paul pissed off the wrong people? Because I don't believe for one moment that the drinks industry has any morals or principles or scruples. they're not trying to stop Prime because it's gonna hurt the kids. They don't give a fuck about the kids, bro. They sell kids like 1 million versions of fucking Coca-Cola. Do you know what I mean? With literal children advertising it. They don't give a fuck about kids. So I don't think this is I don't think this is them trying to moral grandstand. But I wonder what is going on in the background. Like, did he piss off somebody? Did he like fuck some billionaire's daughter and not call her back or something? And now he's like paying the price. He doesn't even know. Because it feels like they're trying to really go after him and prevent Prime really taking off. Because he's always wanted to be a billionaire, made that very obvious. And maybe those guys are like, you know what? You want to be a billionaire? You got to make it worth our time, bro. You got to make us millionaires too, you know, in the process. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. Who freaking knows? What you guys saying? Yeah, I think Prime had their plan to be the exclusive, hard to find drink. They then bailed on that plan and then flooded the market with their drink. Didn't? Okay, cool. Maybe yeah. Maybe it's a flooding. Maybe it's half and half, innit? Maybe the demand has kind of gone down just naturally because, you know, drinks have fads. They have moments. It's like Sunny Delight. That had like a moment, you know. Sprite is having like another moment now with that challenge of trying to, like, you know, drink it all in one gulp and shit. So drinks have their moments. So maybe you're right. Maybe they're just having their moment, or maybe they've done the worst thing they could do and just flooded the market with loads more product, thinking they're gonna sell and hasn't sold. 7 Dirty. I think the company is just loose. Seems selling a beverage isn't that easy. Yeah, true. That's true. That's fucking true. That's fucking true. Okay, cool. Moving on. If you like the stream, you see what you like, make sure you like the stream down below. Like the stream down below. Don't be tight. Like the stream down below. Don't be tight. All right. That's prime hydration, baby. That's just straight up water. I've always wondered why that's so difficult for people to drink. I wonder, maybe it's just like a childhood thing. Maybe I'm just lucky. Growing up, I lived in a house where even though we had loads of soft drinks, we would always encourage to drink water. So maybe that might help. Or maybe just people just generally don't like water. I don't believe that to be the case. I wouldn't imagine that to be the case. Because it's like, people would do anything just to drink anything that just isn't just straight up water. Adding flavor and all this sort of madness. It's like, bro, it's not that deep, man. Just, I don't know. Maybe we're all different. Maybe we're all different. Talking about being different. I also want to defend somebody else who I feel like is getting a lot of unfair criticism and getting a lot of stick from the outsiders and from people that aren't professionals and from civilians and regular people who don't respect the art. Bitch, you guessed it. I want to defend Joe Rogan. A part of me feels like this hate train going on with Joe Rogan at the moment. Everybody's saying his special on Netflix is boring. This particular article, courtesy of The Spectator, that says Rogan's special was about as edgy as a Banksy. I feel like all of this hate that's been pointed towards Rogan is a bit misplaced. You know why? Because I don't think anybody that's successful at what they do or successful in life has to be good at what they do. It's not a prerequisite. This whole idea that, you know, life is a meritocracy is you know, it's been proven to be incorrect. When you have people like Darkside Phil and Boogie and Wings of Redemption making a good salary streaming and making content online, you know, number one, meritocracy doesn't exist, and number two, karma isn't real, because all three of those guys are horrible individuals, done terrible things throughout the years, who should have no right to be making the money they're doing online. They should be shaking their tin cup somewhere on the street somewhere. But no, here they are. With, I think all three own their own homes and shit, right? All three are married and shit, or have women in their lives, in Boogie, Wings, and DSP. So if that's the case, it proves to me that the whole thing about, oh, you have to be good at what you do, how's this guy so successful, how's he so big but he's terrible at what he does, bitch, that's the whole point of life. You're meant to figure out a way for yourself to get the most out of life without actually having to do anything to get it. That's the main goal. The main goal is, how can I get more out of life without having to work hard at what I want, or without having to, you know, be the best at what I do. And Rogan maybe has discovered it. Maybe Rogan saw it early on. Let's use this podcast platform as a chance to speak to interesting people, make it the best podcast in the world, the most followed podcast in the world, And then when I want to start doing stand-up, guess who's going to be there? Bet you guessed it. It's not that hard. Maybe that's always been the point. It's never been about, oh, how good are you? How funny are you? No, it's always been about, I am one of the most popular person in the world. I've got a popping podcast. Everyone wants to know me. Everyone wants to be my friend. Cool. I'm going to take this and then segue into the comedy. Maybe that's the plan. And maybe that's a good approach to do about things. Who knows? Let's go through the article. The article says as follows. My resolution this summer was to see how far in the Olympics I could get without watching an event. It's harder than you think, especially when you've got kids calling constantly from the sitting room. Dad, it's Romania v Burkina Faso in the finals of women's beach volleyball. There's been a tremendous upset. I actually do know what happened in the finals of the women's beach volleyball. It was the first thing I wanted to do. What are you saying? Sorry. What's Dinga saying here? Blistering analysis. Okay, thank you. I will take it. I actually do know what happened. It was the first thing I watched because it was what I was on. I was in a room, later I briefly... Where's the fucking thing? It's talking too much here, man. It's waffling here. Okay. The Olympics was a good time for all the networks to bury bad TV. Maybe that's why Netflix chose... Sorry. What? The Olympics was presumably a good time for networks to bury bad TV. Maybe that's why Netflix chose to release Joe Rogan's special, alleged comedy special, right in the middle. Rogan is a former US sports commentator, mixed martial arts, who has somehow managed to parlay his minor celebrity and blandly amiable jockiness into a multi-gazillion-dollar career as the world's biggest podcaster. But labeling him a stand-up comedian, I would suggest, is an implausibility too far. Is an implausibility too far. Labeling him a stand-up comedian, I would suggest, is an implausibility too far. Rogan is marketed as a kind of edgy alternative to the mainstream media. In reality, he is about as edgy as a Banksy. Explanation for the American readers, not very. But he does his best. For example, when he had Elon Musk on his interminable podcast, his longest lasted 5 hours and 90 minutes, they famously shared a joint. I mean, it's legal, right? Said Musk, as he took the preferred reefer. Sorry, as he preferred the reefer. Or preferred the reefer. And there's your problem right there. Yes, maybe back in the Ronald Reagan 1980s, when it was on your third offense, it could have landed you an automatic 25-year sentence. But in 2024, you must be kidding. Marijuana smoking is ubiquitous. Still, he knows how to please his crowd. The first part of his comedy set for the Majestic Theatre in San Antonio was dedicated to how amazingly blessed he felt to live in Texas. How Texans were truly the most wonderful people in the world, and none more wonderful than the ones who paid, or perhaps been paid, who knows, to see Rogan live at the Majestic Theatre San Antonio. This went down well. Yo, people think Rogan is so unfunny that he's paying people to go and see his shows. He's got a company that hires like people just to sit in the crowd and laugh. Oh my God, bro. That's amazing. That's such a brutal ad to somebody. I think you're unfunny. I think you're so unfunny. I think the people in the crowd aren't even real. I think they're all paid actors. It's like, what? After that, he could read extracts from a big bumper compendium. Why can't I say the word compendium? Compendium of old jokes still have been treated like a world's funniest man. Indeed, it was pretty much what he did. 1 minute he was riffing on the subject of aliens and the apparent fascination with the intimate personal investigations on humans, which South Park dealt with in 1997 in its very first episode titled Cartman Gets an Anal Probe. The next, he was recycled an old Joan Rivers gag about Michelle Obama, then swiftly retracting in case, heaven forbid, anyone thought he was being serious. Stick to the podcast show. Yo, this article is accusing Joe of joke thievery, not only of stealing a joke from South Park, but also stealing a joke from Joan Rivers. Fucking hell! I know people are suggesting now that he stole a joke from Brendan Shaw, but this is crazy. Continues. For times like these, telly is always thin in August. What you really need is Mubi. It's a subscription channel that. Okay, cool. Are we? Is that what we're gonna know? Is this how it ends? You can be sure Joe Rogan won't be watched on any of them. Anyway, cool. So this person wasn't a big fan of Rogan. I think Rogan deserves some support. I don't think anybody that does anything online, does anything in a minimal way, is good at what they do. They just figured out a hack. That's what you have to remember. Nobody out there is good at what they do. Everyone just figured out a hack. People got in there early. People got lucky. Whatever the reason is, they got there. But for you to think that everybody is there by merit is fucking utterly ridiculous. Just enjoy or don't enjoy what they do and keep it moving. But I think the hate train against Rogan must end and must come to a stop. And if I have to be the person who sacrifices myself to pretend that Rogan is, special is funny, just to appease himself and protect him from the baying mob, I'll do so. Because all these other people, like his friends and shit, all the friends that he's given careers to on a legit silver platter, all these friends he's literally had on the podcast and changed their lives, all those guys, guess what they're not doing? They're not running for cover for Joe, but they should be. They should be running for cover. Running to cover him at all costs. Because the things he's done for them is undeniable, especially post fucking jail. Like, come on, man. Come on. All these motherfuckers are not even being thankful. They're not even lying about the special being good. They were like choosing their words carefully. It's like, bro, no. You don't get time to do that now. Either you're the friend or the foe. One or the other. That's what I say. That's what I say. Okay. Talking about friends or foe. Asmongold. I personally think, and I've always thought this anyway, it's pretty difficult to listen to somebody's opinion about like health and fitness when they're fat. It's pretty hard to listen to somebody's opinion on beauty when they're ugly. It's hard to listen to somebody's opinion on hair care when they're bald. So I've never understood why some people within this content game, streaming game, will legitimately hang on to the words of some of these live streamers when some of these live streamers are the same people who've been on stream and legitimately a cockroach has crawled all over their shirt. They're living an absolute pigsty of a bedroom and everything else in between, yet they make millions per year. And it's like, why would you do that to yourself? So in this particular clip, you have a clip of Asmongold talking about or finally admitting all of his health problems that he's run into as a consequence of his poor diet. And his terrible fucking sleeping patterns and shit. So listen to Asmongold try to make sense of what's happening to him, especially because he had a near to death moment.
I guess I can probably just like say, I kind of don't want to hide it a whole lot. Is like, so I've been having problems recently. Like I remember the day that I ended my stream early. So I went to the emergency room that day, and because I felt like uncomfortable, like a discomfort in my chest. And so they did an EKG on me, and like they did all this stuff, and they said that I was okay, but my blood pressure was very high. And so
imagine being that rich. Imagine also being that visibly skinny, but you're suffering from high blood pressure. That must mean you're just eating pure filth, innit? Like pure filth, like actual poison. You're that skinny, yet you're suffering from high blood pressure. You might even have diabetes or some shit. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine what you're putting your body through?
It was like, because I've actually been like, I've had very bad stress problems a lot. Like the point.
Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed living on a diet of fucking energy drinks would cause you to be kind of anxious and stressed? Who would guess? Who would have guessed?
My policy is that, what do I do when I'm scared? What do I do when I'm anxious? What do I do when anything I'm upset, I'm sad? It's very simple. I fucking ignore it and I keep going, no matter what. But I was worried that it was that it's killing me, and I'm concerned that it might be. And so I've had to dial back a lot of the stress. And so I've had to deal with this, and like
And I love how he keeps talking about the stress as like a singular thing, separate from what he eats, what he drinks, the time that he sleeps, you know, exercise. He's making the stress thing like its own thing, and it's not linked to everything else that he puts into his body. It's like, brother, you're a fucking live streamer that plays games. You shouldn't be distressed. If you are distressed, there are things going on in your life you should probably fix.
my blood pressure was in like the 170s. It was really, really bad because how
170 blood pressure doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good to me. What's a good what's a good blood pressure level? Let's see. That doesn't sound good. I'm not a doctor. But that doesn't sound good. For most adults, a normal pressure is systolic pressure of less than 120. A normal big up Z. Normal is under 140, 120. This guy's blood pressure is 170. For most adults, normal blood pressure is systolic pressure of less than 120 and diastolic pressure of less than 80. Blood pressure is measured in two numbers: systolic pressure, which is higher number, and diastolic pressure, which is a lower number. Systolic pressure is the pressure against your arteries when your heart pumps blood, and diastolic is pressure in your heart relaxes between beats. So I guess anywhere between 80 to 120 is a good range. 170. This guy's blood pressure was 170, and he might be like 90 pounds. God damn.
stressed out I've been. And so that's why I haven't been streaming as much for like a number of days. 1 day, 7 days. So I just had a nosebleed. And so I thought to myself, oh my
god. Oh my god. Big up Toby Shakuru. Exactly, Toby. At least exercise or jog for a couple of minutes. Exactly. If you're gonna eat like shit, and I think it's easier when you're younger. Maybe when you get older, your metabolism fucks up. But even when I was younger, I think everyone kind of understood it. You ate like shit. You ate chicken and chips every single day. Ice cream's on the way home when you're fucking, if it's too warm, drinking fucking liter bottles of Coca-Cola. But guess what? We were outside and playing football every day, all day. So it kind of offset, didn't really, but it kind of did offset what we were doing. Obviously, when you get older, it's impossible to play football all day because you have to work, you have to life, So you kind of just like, you have it in balance. So at least work out. Like I said, go for a walk, a fucking half an hour walk for 5 days or until Monday to Friday. It's not really that hard, especially if you're a live streamer. Before you stream, you walk to your fucking favorite restaurant to go pick up some food. Then you come back, bang, you got your walking. Or you walk to go get a drink. Then you come back, bang, you got your walking. That's all you have to do. But he probably was doing nothing, zero, just waking up and streaming. Like, of course you're gonna be stressed, bro. The things you're putting in your body, your high blood pressure, that's what's causing you the stress. But he's talking about the stress like it's almost like he's talking about stress like it's like as if he's suffering from depression, like it's a mental health thing. No, this has to do with, and even sometimes there's studies that have shown you can maybe help curb some of those mental health issues by what you put in your body. But that's a different thing completely, right? He's dealing with it like it's completely separate. Like, no, there's just nothing to do with my food or eating. But I think he's saying stuff like this because if I'm not mistaken, Asmongold is known as the type of person who like doesn't, I don't enjoy food. I just eat food for fuel. You don't really need to eat these certain things. You can get all your calories from beef jerky and energy drinks. He's one of those people. So I think the reason why he's talking like this, and even why he's got this kind of look on his face, and he's a bit like, anxious and shit, I think he's kind of embarrassed. Because even the title of the video didn't really make, I was like, why is he title the video like that? Look at the title of the video. I don't want to hide it anymore. So clearly, he was selling people on this dream or on this vision of a streamer's lifestyle where you could like eat whatever you want, but as long as it was in your caloric deficit or whatever, recommended caloric amount, it was okay. If you got your calories from getting your calories from a beef jerky or getting your calories from a nice nutritious homemade meal, it's the same sort of thing. Probably the kind of person that fucking drinks Solvent, those fucking meal replacement things every day, and think that's good enough. You don't need to eat a steak. I could just drink one. Blah 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 blah. But then now his body has shown him, nah, that's not possible. And now he's kind of embarrassed. And that's why he's probably talking about stress. It's like, brother, it's not the stress. I think it might be the Gatorades.
My God, because that's an indicator of a stroke or like a heart attack. And so that's why I went downstairs to take my blood pressure in to make sure that I was okay. And I checked my nose and I found I was just picking at my nose the wrong way.
Oh
and,
my
it seems like I'm
God, man. I would prefer if you were doing drugs. How's your nose bleeding? A, you don't have an allergy. B, you don't do drugs. But your nose bleeds, runs with blood because you pick it the wrong way. So what? Does that mean you don't cut your nails? Or does that mean you're digging into your... Like, what's happening there? Are your nails like Jamaican yardie man long? Or do you just like claw away at your insides of your nose? What the fuck is going on here? Doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink, but has a bleed... Like, bro, there's something wrong with you. And pick up Shades Cow. No, he is. Shades Cow, he is. I heard this guy's name so often. I assume he was some top streamer. He is a top streamer. Huge. His videos do numbers. And he's also like in the Charlie Moist Critical lane. He does a lot of like reactionary videos, like kind of like what I do as well on a low level. But he does like reactionary videos and commentary videos and shit. And these videos get tons of views. He's very well liked and very well viewed, which is something I've never understood. Because personally, for me, again, it shouldn't matter really. But I'm a normal human being, and sometimes how somebody presents will affect the way that I consume or don't consume their content. And when I saw him for the first time, I kind of looked behind the back of his room and shit, and just what he looks like I can't vibe with it. He looks like he stinks. You know what I mean? Like, just it's not for me personally. So I can never take what he says seriously. But people out there love what he does. Love him. So it's just funny to see him in this situation where the things that he was told not to do and to avoid are now coming home to roost. And it's even worse because in this particular fact, I'd imagine he's also one of those type of people that probably takes a lot of pleasure in being like skinny, being fat. Oh, but I'm not fat though. But at least I'm not fat. I eat this, but I'm not fat. It's like, but like it doesn't matter clearly because you've clearly shown if you're unhealthy, if you don't look after yourself, regardless of what you weigh, your body's gonna pay the price. And look at you now.
So that's the reason why. And I've been exercising every day now, and I've changed.
Yeah, I'm sorry to laugh, but he looks like he got properly rattled by the health scare, innit? Some people don't learn the good way, or they don't learn the easy way, they learn the hard way, and this is him learning the hard way. So maybe it's a good thing overall. Maybe in the end it's a good thing. He's gonna finally get healthy. He's gonna finally look after himself and shit. But he looks rattled. Like that health scare was real.
Changed what I was eating too already, and I'm probably gonna have to schedule an appointment with my doctor about this to make sure that I'm okay. Because it was really weird that I had like that feeling. That's heart attack level. Yeah, it is. But I just checked it. It's not anywhere near that. It's like 135, which is like that's not great, but it's not also.
Do you say your heart? It was 170. Now you're saying 135.
Like worrisome, right? 135 is still high. Panic attack. Yeah, cardio will help for this. Yeah, and that's exactly what I've been doing, and so that's the reason actually why I've been doing shorter streams. I don't really want to talk about it a lot.
You don't want to talk. Why don't you want to talk about it a lot, eh? Why don't you want to talk about it a lot? He feels shame. You shouldn't feel shame at this point. People are gonna say, "I told you so." Let them say, "I told you so." If they can offer you some help, if maybe sharing it, sharing your update with people makes you accountable in something, do it. But you shouldn't be ashamed. It's too late now, and also your life is on the line. Why do you care if people are gonna be telling you, "I told you so," and whatever else it may be? Just whatever, man. Who gives a fuck? Like, I don't want to talk about it too much. because he knows he's gonna get called out. He doesn't want to like face the reality that he was wrong, like disastrously wrong as well.
Give me a second. My dad's calling me. Hello? Hey.
That's the thing though, 730. He's so rich, I don't understand why he got the health of a drug addict. But that's the thing, it'd be far more impressive and far better if you actually were addicted to drugs. Being addicted to drugs and having your room look that way, being in that poor of shape, your nose bleeding, all that sort of shit makes sense. It adds. But at least you have the fun of doing the drugs and all the activities that come with it. You're just streaming online and you got all of these fucking problems with your body. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. Can you just let me do this? Like I'm like, I'll talk to you later. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. If that's true, Kate, I didn't know that's true. His mum just died. He's in deep depression. Yeah, I don't know if that's true. If that is true, that also is another sign of just how random your response to like grief, or no, just how random everyone's response is when it comes to grief. Because some people would say on paper, oh shit, your mum died from health complications or maybe just passed away in general. It would make you like reassess your own mortality, and it would make you want to take your health more seriously, and you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's not like that sometimes. It's not like that. Sometimes maybe it sends you to a spiral, and that spiral then sends you into eating and drinking more shit. So it has an adverse effect. You never know. You never really know. You have to make that decision about improving your health yourself without any external sort of like motivation. Do you know what I mean? You have to kind of just do it yourself. Obviously now he's doing it because of the health scare, but there's no real rhyme or reason why, oh, your parents died, now you're going to take stuff seriously. No. If you're not taking life seriously, sometimes when bad things happen to you, it can actually make things worse. So, god damn it, bro. Can you just imagine going through that at the same time? Your parents passing and you go through that.
Like to talk about that kind of stuff because it just I think it invites a lot of like parasocial stuff, but you know, since I've had to end stream
I love people like battling with their ego. He's more worried about his fans being parasocial now that he's sharing stuff about his health updates and shit than he is about just being open about his issues to maybe help other people and warn them that, hey, don't repeat my mistakes, or just to be accountable to his fans. It's like, bro, now's not the time to like be telling people what they cannot say about what you're doing. Either you don't bring it up or you bring it up completely. But let's not do this middle of the ground thing. Like, okay, I'm just going to tell you something now, but you can't ask me any questions. It's like, bro, we're too late now. We're too far down the road, man. You nearly died. Like, come on.
Early a few days, and like it's still fucking with my head. Like oh god, oh Jesus, yeah, and so that's really it. You start eating healthier, it's catching up to you, bro. I think it's honestly stress more than anything else.
Wow. Don't get me wrong. I think eventually he will get there. It's just hard, isn't it? When you've been eating the way he's been eating and living the way he's been eating, especially he's got another like issue that we don't probably all have. He's also made millions of dollars. He's also insanely popular. So it must be like a version of a confirmation bias, because you're living this shit that you're living a life that everyone is saying is degenerate, is a bit bummy and shit, is horrible, is disgusting, but you're also making a lot of money because you're a live streamer and you're a gamer and shit, and you're just popular online, people like you, blah blah blah, you got tons of subs, so you're making a bunch of money. So it's probably hard for you to like listen to what people have to say, because you're like, you don't have money. I mean, like, obviously I'm doing something, right? Because I'm always streaming. So all these energy drinks that I'm drinking are obviously helping me with my job. You know, whatever. I'm always up and alert, blah, blah. Maybe it's the beef jerky and the sodium in this, who knows, whatever. So it's probably difficult for him to break that at the moment, but eventually he will get there. But for him to think stress isn't linked to what you eat is insane. Like, as if your brain isn't linked to your body. As if your body is linked to your brain. Like, come on, brother. Come on.
Like it's really just stress, and it's a lack of exercise. And so I'm going to exercise and stress out and try to be stressed out less. Like, cause it was weird that stress is an insidious killer. I know. Could be hypertension. It is. Yeah. And so that's been the positions that I've been in.
He's just picking the chats that he agrees with. I love him, man. He's just picking the chats he agrees with. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're totally right. I was thinking the same thing too. So, come on, bro.
And yeah, I've been trying to just be on. And
also, do you remember? Isn't this the same guy that was arguing that working streaming is as hard, if not harder, than working a 9 to 5? Bro, can you imagine? This guy would have offed himself if he had to work a shitty job, picking and packing in a warehouse, construction, working retail, and like, because I always feel like I worked retail and I thought that was a shitty job, but I think there's levels of retail that are shitty. I think, imagine what he would do if he had to work at like a TJ Maxx in like a shopping center where no one goes. Those are real shitty jobs. You work retail in a shopping district or on a street that isn't that busy. You have to open and close every single day, and sometimes you get like 1 or 2 customers coming in. And you have a manager that still tries to tell you to like act busy. So you have to pretend to work in a store where no one's in to make money to pay your rent and to like pay your bills and live your life. And he's trying to tell you playing Magic the Gathering online is harder than that. Fuck off, man. Fuck off.
You know, stream as much as I can and everything, and you know, say fuck it, it's fine, but I don't want to kill myself, right? Which is weird, right? Because like,
I was just weird, bro. That's what happens when you. Who would have known? Who would have known? Ordering DoorDash 3 times a day, 7 times a week, plus living on Gatorade and beef jerky would maybe drive you to depression. Who would have guessed it? Who would have guessed it? Big up Dylan B. I worked at Burger King off the side of a shitty busway. That was the most brutal job. Exactly. Because retail sometimes or bar jobs aren't that bad. You work in even if you're working in a chain bar, chain restaurant is busy, like that busy and popping. And sometimes I've worked in places where sometimes, honestly, you get lucky. The job is terrible, but the people you work with are so awesome. Like, they cover the whole fucking smorgasbord of the human population. Everywhere from like a 7-year-old to like a 19-year-old. You're all hanging around, having fun, like working. You all hate the managers together. You've all got the crush on the same girls in the fucking place that you work in. You fuck around with each other. Like, it's vibes, even if the job is shit. But there's no worse job in the world than a job where nobody comes there. There's nobody. You work in like a fucking hardware store and there's nobody there. You have to fucking take delivery of shit, stack it, label it, do all that work shit, but there's nobody buying shit. And it just keeps chugging along. Every year, it just keeps chugging along. And you have to get up every day and go there and act all sprightly, pushing yourself through, dreading that bus ride, dreading the car ride. All those times where real niggas know, because I think in America it's different. I think you guys in America, you guys have a work week of like Sunday to Monday. No, yeah, I think you guys have the work week of Sunday to Monday. But in the UK, our work week is Monday to Sunday. Anyway, you know you work a shitty job where on the Sunday morning, Sunday fucking morning, and sometimes when I was really going through it at my shitty job, when I was out on a Saturday night, there'd be a moment where I'd remember, oh shit, it's going to be work on Monday. And I'd immediately get depressed. I'd be out raving. I might even be in the toilets taking a piss. And then suddenly it'd hit me. Oh shit, you're back in work on Monday. You hate your job so much, you're thinking about it on a Saturday evening. That's when you know you got a shitty job. And these streamers just sit on their asses. Some of these successful live streamers sit on their asses in their paid-for houses with all their bills covered, loads of fucking money coming. They probably make more on subs. They probably make more on monthly subs than some of us make in a year or have ever made in our lifetime. And they're trying to tell you, oh, my job is harder. Bitch.
it's like I've tried very hard to like kind of move away from like being afraid of like dying and like all that stuff. But man, that day I realized that like, holy fuck, like I was scared, man. I really was. And so,
yeah, big up Booth McGee. Big up Booth McGee. I show up to work barely alive for 12 hours and keep it pushing. Exactly. That's what we all did. That's what we've all done. We've just kept it pushing. Whatever thoughts we had in our head, it didn't matter, really. We didn't have parasocial fans to help us, to kind of soothe our pain. You just kept it pushing. What else you gonna do? Quit. And then what? Starve. Then die. Of course not. You just keep it pushing.
I ordered protein bars, and we're drinking water now.
Oh my god! Protein bars. I know it's a start. But come on, brother. Can we maybe learn how to cook one meal? Can we maybe learn how to cook, I don't know, steak and sweet potato fries, steak and some veggies, something, some sort of pasta, something, just something healthy. Can we learn to cook one thing that might be nutritious for you, that might be good for whatever? Because I'm sure he could probably go online and Google and find out there's certain meals or certain foods that he can eat that can alleviate his high blood pressure or whatever. Just something, one thing. Protein bars. You think you need protein? Can't you just get protein from actual animal products or vegetables and shit? Is that not possible? You have to go get it from a bar. Fucking hell, man. Anyway, I know he'll get there eventually. But God almighty, this guy, man.
Soda, and we've got to make some improvements. That's it. And so that's where we're at. That's pretty much about it. So I don't.
We have to make some improvements. I thought you don't want a parasocial relationship. We have to make some improvements. It's you, brother. You got to sort yourself out. If you croak over, your fans just go somewhere else. That's the sad thing. His fans like him. He's got like a massive fan base. Clearly he's doing something right. Be there for your fucking fans. Be there for your fucking family, man. Put down the fucking protein bars and learn how to cook one meal. Maybe cut back on the door dashes. Maybe instead of getting 3 a day, you get 1. Is that possible? And maybe and from the one you choose, maybe you try and choose like a healthy option every day. You pick like a healthy place that does like salads or like fucking, something. Come on, man. God damn.
I don't want to talk about it a whole lot more or anything like that. It's whatever. Open a Gatorade. I actually did get Gatorade. I got Gatorade as well. Yep, there we go.
Of course.
Open a Gatorade. I actually did get Gatorade. I got Gatorade as well.
Of course you got Gatorade. Of course you got a multi. Of course. That's what you need, isn't it? Man goes to the hospital and finds out his blood pressure is 170 and he weighs like 110 pounds. And the first thing he does is go buy protein bars and Gatorade. Ah, man. Fuck, whatever, man. Whatever happens, innit? Whatever happens. Life plays out the way it plays out. I'll big up KP. He was dating a streamer called Pink Sparkles. She had an OnlyFans. Okay, I don't know who that is, to be fair. I'm not that plugged into the OnlyFans community or world, apart from the people that I see sometimes on those like clip farming channels on like Twitter and stuff. I don't really know who's who. The streamers, I know some of the big ones, but I don't really know who the big OnlyFans girls are, to be completely honest. But I'm assuming she's probably a hot girl, yeah? Cool.
Yep, there we go. And yeah, I'm going to change my diet and eat a little bit differently because I don't want to have to go on medication.
Yeah, big up Booth McGee. I've worked shift where I was outside my body looking at myself doing the job, still finished the out shift. Yeah, those ones are those ones are the wildest, isn't it? Where like, or the ones where like time goes like fast and slow at the same time. It's weird, like, yeah. Those, I don't know, like you just can't, like, it's like it gets to 12 really quickly and then suddenly to get to 1 p.m. it feels like 17 hours. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Like you just can't, like nothing's making sense, honestly. I've sometimes been at work sometimes where like you have this like insane level of fatigue that isn't really fatigue. I don't know what it is. And the moment you leave work, you're like jumping for joy. God damn it, man. Bless bullshit jobs.
I think that the first thing, you know, people that go on medication die, in my opinion. Like, I think that, like, there's all these times like,
How is a guy who couldn't even avoid having high blood pressure now able to opine on medication and its ills? You can't even get your nutrition in line without help. You can't even do the basics like drinking water and shit. And I don't know, making at least 1 or 2 good meals for yourself per day. And now here you are, like, telling us about the faults of medication, which you might be right on, but it's like, I don't know. It seems like you need all the help you can get, my friend.
I know people that are like younger than me and they have 5 different medications. That's terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifying. And so I want to do whatever I can to, like, be able to, like, you know, overcome it physically myself. I think that the human body is made to last. It's made to endure. And I'm
The human body is made to last, made to endure, says a very young man who's killing himself by drinking energy drinks. Come on, man.
34, right? And so, like, it's gonna be a while, right?
Yeah. Big up Daniel Clements in the chat. Well gone, Daniel Clements. Anybody joining in right now, make sure you like the stream down below. Don't be like the stream down below. Big up what's that thing? Yeah, big up KP. Imagine if Tiger became like this. Yo, if Tiger became like this, I think Brendan might disown him. Because Brendan looks at these people as like subhuman. He doesn't respect them as like men, anything. If his apple of his eye, Tiger, ended up like this, I think he might disown him. Actually, legitimately might disown him. The same way Elon Musk disowned his trans daughter and shit. Brendan might just come out and publicly chastise them. Do you know what I mean? He will not have it. He can't stand for that. He's too much of a Chad.
You know, I've been alive for a while, and a lot of my friends have already had a lot of issues, and so, you know, I think it's the stress, and I've been, like, not getting a lot of sleep in a lot of days too, with, like, anxiety, and so, yeah, that's that's what it is, and
Yeah.
so there you go. And streaming stressful. I want to make you guys understand this, okay? This is the least stressful part of my day. I love streaming. I love doing it. It's not your fault. It has nothing to do with the stream. Obviously, chatter.
I know he's just like trying to appease his fans and whatever, trying to be a good guy, but it's like, you don't want a parasocial relationship, but you're talking to your fans like this. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you kind of like it, bro. I think you kind of like it.
Can be annoying. Of course. But that's not the real reason, okay, guys? It's really not. I wish it was the reason, because it would make it so fucking easy to solve. I would just stream less. So yeah. It's so good to hear that. Yeah, no, I'm okay. And so I just want to let you guys know. And I've already been making improvements for a few days, and I've already seen a tremendous decline in, like, those, like, high spike blood pressure stuff. And you know, like, going down today, like, just a few minutes ago, it was lower than it pretty much ever has been. And that was, like, in the middle of my stream, in the middle of discussing all of this stuff, right? And so I do think that I've already made a tremendous amount of improvement, and I hope that I keep making more improvements. And that's what I'm going to keep trying to do.
Looking like that and having those type of health problems must be such a mindfuck, isn't it? Because you probably think, oh, that's only what fat people get. It's like, nah, bro. You could be unhealthy at any size. Like, honestly, be unhealthy. And it's like the fucking acid reflux. It's like, bro, don't you see what's going on here? Don't you see what your body is telling you? Like, I don't know. Maybe if you sit there and your nose just starts bleeding, and then you realize it's not because you got a coke addiction, it's because you've been scraping your inside of your nose too hard. Maybe the likely solution would be to look at your hands and be like, oh, my nails are too long, and then clip them, and then wash your hands. That would be the likeliest. That should be what normal people should think. Oh, I didn't do anything. I just think, oh shit, look at your nails. You got blood on your nails. Cool. Cut your nails. Simple things. Oh, blood pressure's high. Okay, cool. Let's wean off the fucking energy drinks. Let's try a week of no energy drinks. Oh, I need to get my protein up. Okay, cool. Let me just buy some protein-rich foods and eat that for a couple of days. Or just order it if you don't want to make it yourself. Is it really that hard? Because he could probably afford to just keep ordering food. It probably is more cost effective and time efficient for him to just order in. Cool. But you can order in healthy too. Jesus, bro. But again, he'll probably figure it out in the end. He probably will figure it out, but I don't know. It's just hilarious. I'd look at someone like him, I think to myself, wow, man, people actually hang on these every word. But like when it comes to commentating on like societal things, it's like, bro can't even get his life together in that respect. Like, why would you listen to him? Like, why? Like, how does his voice hold any weight when he legitimately thinks buying a protein bar is like a good thing, long term for his health? It's like, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's play this video. Let's play this brilliant video from Brendan Cooney of the 10-Minute Podcast. 10 minutes of Shorb is even worse than we thought. And this is really good, but it's also really mean because it takes the piss out of my boy Too Lazy to Try. Okay? Too Lazy to Try is my guy, and I don't like how the winds, the fucking vibe, the ambiance around him has changed. Now everybody's sort of like taking the piss out of him. They don't like him. They're calling him a loser. They're saying he's, you know, whatever. I don't know. These people are just throwing away some, and I don't like it. I like the guy. I think he makes good videos. He has good insights and shit. But there are some times when, you know, he flies a bit close to the sun and shit. It happens. Sometimes when you make content, you're going to inevitably have some bad takes because you make so much. But I think people that are being mean to him are being a little bit too mean. Like, relax. Leave Too Lazy to Try alone. But with that being said, let's watch the video. Very good video. Very, very, very good video. This parody of like Too Lazy to Try is fucking brilliant. So big up Brendan Cooney.
Tweeties guys just continue to embarrass themselves. They are obsessed with Brendan Schaub. Of course, they had another episode this week where they had on, you guessed it, Mark Harley, also known as like BGL or whatever. I don't even know what that stands for. Seriously, when is it going to end? The Fighter and the Kid subreddit is out of hand. All they do is make fun of Brendan Schaub. So on the show with Mark Harley, they went into this long rambling segment about that Olympic boxer that may or may not be a man or a woman. It was clear that none of them knew what they were talking about, but Mark is some expert on it. Even the people in the comments were kind of questioning why they would talk about it. And some of the comments specifically were talking about how the guy with the small teeth looked like he was dying or something. Like he looked like he totally didn't want to be there. And the people who watch the show picked up on that. Now I know why the only thing they talk about is Brendan Schaub, because when they talk about other stuff, they're just really out of their depth. Also on the show, Mark specifically brings up the 1,000th episode. Well, I can't even say 1,000th. 1,000th. I have a lisp. All right. Also on the show, they brought up the 1,000th. 1,000th? I can't say 1,000th. 1,000th. They should just play this. Just gadoosh me. Also, the Timos guys completely gadoosh the 1K episode that T-Fat-K had. And honestly, I thought that...
Hey, yo. I love these guys, but let's not say Timos again. Let's not say Timos. Let's not use the word Timos ever again. Please. Let's keep that abbreviation for like typing and shit. Let's not say Timos. Come on now. Come on. Let's be fair. That's kind of cringe.
Episode was really good. That episode really stood out to me. I mean, they got cupcakes. They went over some of their greatest hits. They totally cleared the air with Bobby Lee, and it made perfect sense. I mean, Brendan doesn't really know him that well, and Brian made a mistake.
What's going on with you and Bobby Lee? Have you guys squashed everything?
Yeah, I get it. Respect. Sucks. We're not friends. Makes me sad. All good. Grown man.
Yeah, but anyway.
What else?
Yeah, that was funny. He did throw. I didn't realize it at the time, but he did really throw Brian under the bus. He made it seem like he had no issue, and Brian just went off the handle. It's like, bro, Brian went off the handle because he's trying to protect you. You had the issue. You were getting it from all angles. So Brian, like a good friend, a little bit excessive, a little bit too much, but he's still being a good friend. He jumped in front and tried to help you out. And tried to like get on the phone and rag, you know, and fucking bark at Bobby, but obviously it backfired. But still, he was helping you. Bro, like, I don't know him. I don't know the guy. I've never spoken to him. We've never been on tour together.
But Mark Harley didn't think so. He said that Brendan's behind it, which really sounds like me, just a bunch of malarkey.
And Brendan's like, oh man, 2022 is so weird. Like, I didn't have anything to do with the Bobby Lee thing. It was all Brian's fault. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like, the whole episode, because his new, like, you know, fuck buddy co-host Shanaz or whatever is like, a lot of the people are asking, like, what's up with Bobby Lee now? And you're just like, you're like, I feel bad because knowing, like, I'm in that room and knowing how much Brendan didn't want to answer that question. But do you guys remember how if you watch this, he completely deflected.
Yeah, he was like, I don't even know Bobby.
He's like, Bobby, I've never friends with him. I don't know who he is. Like, Brian obviously totally harassed him. And I'm like, knowing the actual inside story of like, no, you hired fake hackers who told you that Bobby Lee was running the subreddit, and you called me up, and I was like, maybe sit on that information rather than doing anything about it. And then like 2 hours later, you're like pretending the LA Times is running some fake story on Bobby Lee while he's at dinner to make him panic and call you back, and then you ambushed him with Brian. I'm like, this was all you, dude. Like, sorry.
One thing I did appreciate, though, is that
Yeah, big up Mr. O. Just got home from some hedonistic adventures. JK. They just straight working. It does a strong work ethnic. Big up. Yeah, man, us ethnics, we got a work ethnic, you feel me? And this is hedonistic as well. We're laughing at these comedians and shit. We are hedonistic too, because we've got a head and we're istic. Get it? No, you don't. Okay. Big up Mr. O. Like the stream.
That Mark Harley outed Schaub as a rub and tugger, which is something that I'm really against. I don't know why people go to shops like that when they could just be watching Too Lazy to Try videos instead.
One time I'm like, okay, yes, you technically show up at 9 a.m. on Mondays. Sometimes you would just show up randomly like an hour and a half late because he's getting a rub and tug. Like literally, I remember like being behind him one time and seeing him pull in.
That's a fucking hawk move right there.
Yeah, by the way, that's fucking pause, isn't it? That's pause. I didn't realize at the time. He went to go get rubber tug. I remember being behind him. Ayo, BGL. Pause. I remember being behind him while he was getting a rub and tug. Even on his way to get rub and tug, I was behind him. Ayo.
So it smelled like chocolate and possibilities.
It's about to get tropical up in this bitch.
Dude, not tropical. It's about to get African. I'll get on all fours, man. They'll jack me off like the milk in a cow. I'll get on all fours. They'll milk me like a cow. They'll jack me off on all fours.
I don't think in my life I'll ever hear anybody in my life, IRL, pronounce the word milk. Ever. I think Brendan might be the first and only person I hear in my lifetime pronouncing milk. Milk me. Milking. What? Milk. When it's milk. Why would you pronounce milk when it's actually phonetically spelled milk? It's not spelled milk. No? Or am I mistaken? M-I-L-K. Milk. Or at worst, you may pronounce it phonetically milk. But it wouldn't be milk, you know? You know what I mean? It makes no sense how his brain rationalizes or it just doesn't. I'm trying to make sense of redactedness, but even if you were to try to pronounce it phonetically, you couldn't pronounce it milk based on how it's spelled. You just couldn't. It's impossible.
Like chocolate and possibilities.
It's about to get tropical up in this bitch.
Dude, not tropical. It's about to get African. I'll get on all fours, man. They'll jack me off like the milk in a cow.
Milking a cow. Milking a cow. Milking. Not milking. Not milking. Milking. Okay, cool. Do it again.
I'll get on all fours. They'll milk me like a cow.
Milk. Not milking.
That's disgusting.
And put their digits in my asshole. Another one put her fingers in my ass.
Well, sir, how would you even ask that? Excuse me. I know you don't speak English. Okay. I want to get on the force.
Yeah, $75.
That's amazing.
$75.
Big up Dylan B. Milk is past tense is fucking hilarious. Milk is past tense. How about that milk I had yesterday? How about that milk? Yo, milk is past tense is fucking ridiculous. You are absolutely dumb.
I'll let you get all that. Max rubmaps.com.
Rubmaps.com.
Rubmaps.
Yeah, I think it's called Rubmaps.
It's an app.
Yeah.
Oh, was that a fraudulent slip? Did he meant to say like Mexi rubs? Is that what he said? Mex rubs. Mexican rubs. Mexi rubs. Ooh. Torta rubs.
I don't know. I've
That's
heard
what they say.
I don't have it on
That's
my
what
phone.
a guy of a friend told me.
I don't have it on my phone.
fucking phone. I have some sort of creep.
All in all, the episode was just way too long. They say it's 10 minutes, but I counted and the episode was 2 hours and 14 minutes. And 15 of those minutes was just the Gerald guy laughing.
This little chin guy.
You're right.
And 2 hours in the episode, the audio, there was some weird cut, and it was clear that Jared guy accidentally pushed the wrong button, which is something he does often. The guy with small teeth has no idea what's going on in production. You can tell he barely knows how to turn on a computer, so it's totally up to Jared, and he fails at that. Why doesn't he ever go to a dentist? It's like, it's not that hard to get dental insurance. I just look at his teeth sometimes, and I think, man, you shouldn't be doing a podcast. You should be at a doctor's appointment. Some people say it's huge gums, but I don't think that's true. The teeth are very small. And you can tell these guys, their fans are really into them because this week, everyone was saying this was the best song they did on Timos, but I mean, that's clearly not true, and I think everybody agrees with me when I say that the Prince song was their best cover.
Tried to go to Thick Boy Nation, but nobody was even there.
But it just kept getting worse for them this week.
What does TLDR mean? Too long, don't read?
Today I learned.
I thought I would get a definite answer from you because you're Mr. Twitter.
I mean, is that a Twitter thing? TLDR?
I'm not.
Hey, yo, fellas, that background is crazy. That background, that's like a come up, obviously, because when they eventually become rich and successful and they get their spankly studios with great LED lights and stuff, it's going to look amazing. But as it stands, I know I can't speak too much because I've got just a shelf full of books, but that background is crazy. That background is fucking crazy. You know, it's like you got equipment in there that's probably worth more than that room. You know, that is wild, bro. The only thing missing from there is like a bed sheet to cover the window as like a makeshift curtain or something. That room is fucking wild. God, or maybe it's just messy, but it looks like a trap house. Like, what?
I'm not on my phone at all, so I think I only see it on Twitter,
right?
Because things are super long and they don't want you to read the whole thing. So like, too long, don't read. Gerardo put a Sharpie in his butt.
I'm a boomer, dude.
Okay.
I'm 58 years old. I don't know shit. They also have another podcast called Raccoon Tweakers. This week's episode was totally boring. And what about the ice? Does she say that and do the ice wrong still?
Ice is no longer a problem. I confronted all the workers. I sat them down and I said, if you fucking... And I didn't cuss, but you know what I mean. Ice is important to me. They're doing a great job, dude. This one I've had probably for like 30 minutes. You hear that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I never
amount.
know how much ice you want, but that's the perfect amount you got going.
I'd rather it be that way, dude. I don't want you to know how much ice I want. You know what I mean?
So Gerardo was totally pissed the whole episode, and honestly, it really took away from the show because he was so mad. Let's be honest, he started the episode off with Hernado. Like, that really happened, okay? That was a thing he decided to do, and nobody got it. The bit fell flat. And if you ask me, he totally made it up. He just makes up these weird stories. Also, there are times where he goes to Starbucks, and if you look at his social media, he's got so many posts where he just posts like Starbucks people giving him the wrong name. So you can tell he kind of like wants it, but at the same time, it also really hurts him. And let's be honest, the co-host, Cooney, he's basically...
This is such a good parody. This is such a good parody. This is definitely, as much as I love my guy to try, this is definitely something he would do. Just investigate the most irrelevant minutiae of a detail. And use it as an example to point out why someone's a bad person, why you shouldn't like them too. It's like, what? How do you even get this? You've been building your case for how long? How many Instagram stories are these? Like, fucking hell, man. Oh, I love to try.
Dead. Like, does he even drink coffee? If he doesn't, I think he should. And out of nowhere, Cooney just reveals that he has this weird condition with his foot. So I have hammer toe. If you don't know what hammer toe is, it's when your toe, like, it's just the two middle toes. They curl up like this.
Oh.
Look, I have so many things wrong with me, but my feet are amongst the worst.
I could cut
They're
this
my
part out.
biggest problem. If you think my teeth are bad, thank God you don't have to look at my feet.
Damn.
And it's like, we don't want to hear about your feet, but then he just keeps going on, and he has something called hammer toe. I looked it up online, and I cannot believe this guy even wears shoes. Another thing that's really weird is that Cooney, everyone says that like he has small teeth, and he's always making jokes about it, but Gerardo doesn't even go to the dentist. Like he at one point he just interrupts Brendan and he goes, "I don't go to the dentist." And it's like, wow, you know, this is coming from a guy who, when he goes to a barber shop, just looks at the barber and says, "Do your thing." I mean, this is just something that he has serious problems emotionally and mentally, I think, and that's what's preventing him from going to a dentist. And then also, like, what's going on with his hair? And it really feels like they're grasping for straws in this episode, because at one point they just start talking about how you can read, and Gerardo says that like he has audiobooks that he can pay attention to, but when he starts reading, he can't visualize, or he's not supposed to visualize. I really didn't follow this part, and the whole time I was just staring at Cooney's small teeth. Honestly, I was falling asleep, just like Cooney. So apparently the biggest thing going on the show right now is that Gerardo has a new pair of shoes. He said a listener bought the shoes for him, but then it goes off into this weird tangent about his family's group chat, and his mom hates Biden. And it's like, we've heard a lot about that already. Like, we know that his mom and dad think that Biden is the worst thing to ever happen and that Trump's great. But Gerardo just goes on and on talking about the things that his family says about the shoes. And it's like, honestly, I started to feel really bad for him, because this is a guy whose family won't even be happy when he gets a new pair of shoes. They just say mean things to him. And I almost didn't want to put this video out, but I kind of thought that you guys would enjoy it. So check out my Patreon episodes. I have a new episode about how Gerardo smells, and and more about Cooney's fucked up foot.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Big up Kez of Moses. This is funny. Are they beefing though? I don't know. I think it might just be banter. I think this might be like comedy, podcast commentary banter. Might be a bit of commentary, podcast comedy banter. Might be just some pure, nice old banter. But one thing that I thought of when I was watching the video, I was like, rah, man, it's funny to think, isn't it? A channel like that, to Try, and a channel like Podcast Cringe have completely upset and disturbed the stand-up comedy industry or scene. Had them rattle. Just two guys just sharing their opinions, really. Sharing their opinions on what these guys do has completely rattled them to their core. Mad, isn't it? But I think I would imagine most of those guys' issues with those channels, I don't think are the strength of what I don't think those guys actually listen to what they say or take any of the criticism on board, especially if it's constructive. They don't care. I think their main issue is that those guys sometimes get more views on their videos than the comedians get on their podcast. That's what's annoying them the most. So if they can find a way to just... So I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably going to be career suicide, but I wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the future we start seeing a lot of these stand-up comedians be very, 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 very forthright in claiming videos. The same way that I think there's one in hip-hop. I think it's Vlad and Joe Budden. Vlad and Joe Budden podcast. If you try to use Vlad clips on your videos, sometimes they get blocked. You can't even use them. And Joe Budden will automatically claim the AdSense. So I got a feeling sooner rather than later, a group of comedians will probably start doing that. Because that will just inevitably stop all the channels from like reacting or uploading clips. Because probably a bunch of them are doing them because it makes good money. But I've got a feeling that a lot of these comedians are just pissed that these other channels are getting more views and getting more money than them. So they'll most likely start claiming. Like, I don't know why. I've just got like a sneaky feeling that someone's going to start doing it. Someone's going to start doing it. Or at least someone prominent. And then it's going to kind of change everything going on in the climate now, which is good. Again, will be career suicide, especially these comedians that talk about free speech and counterculture and shit. But I have a feeling it's going to happen because a lot of these guys really can't handle any form of criticism. So the best way sometimes, if you can't handle it, is just to silence it. Unfortunately. Moving on. What else you got to talk about here? We talk about that. What's this one? Let's do retroactive. Let's do retroactive. Big up my guy Retroactive. He's got a new video out. It's called Joe Rogan Steals from Brendan Shaw. Let's see this one. Big up people in the stream chat as well if you're here tuning in. Big up you. What's that? Wingus but Dingus. What's funny is that all these podcast comedians are all free speech grifters, but as soon as they get laughed at, they all have a pissy. Yeah, of course, standard shit with these guys. Rules for D, but not for me. Rules for D, but not for me. Let's continue. Bear with me a second. I get this video to load. Let's do retroactive. Let's see what retroactive is saying. Let's see what retroactive is saying. Cool. Come on. Come on.
You did it while I'm at home. She was really sad about that. I didn't have the heart to tell her, I do it while you're sleeping right next to me.
Joe Rogan then went on to say that exact joke in his new special on Netflix. 14 years after using it as his closer for his 2010 special, 6 years in the making, all just to steal from himself, going on to become his own Carlos Mencia, the guy whose career he nuked for joke theft.
I'm the opposite. I wish I was gay. It looks way easier.
My life would be so much easier if I was just gay as shit. At night we each other.
He can't have actually used.
I wonder if Carlos Mencia feels a little bit hard done by because maybe he just wasn't. Maybe Carlos Mencia just wasn't popular enough amongst his friends. Because these comedians act like they have like morals and principles and there's like a code of ethics when it comes to being a stand-up. But I think if you're really funny and you're also if you're very popular. Because I think Carlos Mencia's biggest problem, from what I can view, reading between the lines, was that he was a cunt in across the board. Not only stealing jokes, he was a cunt with money, he was a cunt with chances, he was a cunt with time on stage. Like, he didn't really help anybody. Not so helping. He didn't really he didn't, I don't get keep people sweet. But I think that's why he fucked up. I think if Carlos Mencia still stole jokes, but put people on the road, took people on tour with him and put money in their pockets and shit and was that kind of guy, I think he'll be fine. But because he was a cunt across the board, I think that's why they quote-unquote cancelled him. Because really and truly, they all steal jokes in some way, shape or form. They all really steal jokes. And if anything, I'm not going to lie, controversial opinion, I would rather they steal jokes. Some of these fuckers are so unfunny, I would rather they steal jokes. Still a premise. Extrapolate it, please, for the love of God.
It's a Shorb joke. Even if Shorb took it from hanging out with Joe, you can't do a Papi bit and not have the internet immediately notice. Within hours of it being out, people started posting clip after clip of either stolen jokes, reused jokes, or awkward silence. If you've heard the podcast, Joe always talks about how comedy is his main passion, so for him to be so afraid to do his 7th hour-long special, he said no, is telling. Maybe he knew to some extent through Jamie that public perception is nowhere near as solid as it was 5 to 10 years ago. His biggest podcast fans and even the Netflix page acknowledge he's least known as a comedian. And for now more sites to be running articles that he lifted other bits from Bill Burr, Louis C.K., Louis' infamous F-word bit from 2008, Bill Burr's bit about stealing a police officer's gun, and a Reddit thread that claims other bits are close to material from Jim Jeffries, Jim Brewer, Doug Stanhope. I'd go one by one with fair use, but the copyright goblins might nuke me from my seat. If you've seen the special, you know how unfortunately derivative a lot of it felt. Even if you can't remember from where or haven't seen other specials, the jokes are things done many times everywhere, like Joe meeting a lesbian at the bar and discussing toys. Other fans commented noticing 4 jokes are similar to his Rocky Mountain High special from 2014. For many to be loosely or completely based on others' work or his own past work really isn't going to help change people's realization that much of the stand-up scene is recycled. It starts to lose its effect
But you know what's funny though, and I think this is not funny. This is probably the hardest thing for Rogan to take from his criticism. I think a lot of comedians, especially his friends, are doing a good job of running cover for him, especially Bill Burr, by painting the criticism as just Rogan upsetting like the libtards, Rogan upsetting all the woke people. When really, the sadder thing for him and the more brutal thing for him, or what probably hurts the most, is that most of the criticism I've seen is about the comedy and the lack of ha-ha he-he's, the lack of funnies, That's what people are complaining about. They're not even that bothered about all the racy, dicey shit you said. They're more just like thinking, oh shit, you're actually not funny at all. You know? That's gonna hurt the most. That's gotta hurt the fucking most.
The more people they're exposed to, unless you're a Burt Kreischer fan, I guess. Being shirtless really is the ultimate joke you can do for decades.
In the gym, I'm listening to my set.
your own shit, yes.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
just like, I want to be just dialed
I get
in.
like that.
Maybe by listening to his own stuff.
Yeah, that's our thing though. We hear so much of that talk from Rogan. We've heard so much of that talk from Rogan over the years. We all just incorrectly thought he was good. Because we know he works hard. None of us can sit here and think he phones it in. But imagine working that hard and then producing that special.
He meant his old specials and he forgot the new set. That's truly a new level of lazy from Joe after years of the podcast being,
I work so hard on my routine. Every night when the family's asleep, I'm writing The Muse, The War of...
Yeah, big up Wingus McDingus. Yeah, Wingus, you probably were one of the people that didn't, but I feel like now there's a lot of revisionist history. I feel like a lot of people didn't probably care about his stand-up. I don't think people paid attention. But I think, unfortunately for Rogan, he just wouldn't stop talking about it. So everyone was like, okay, cool. You're not going to shut the fuck up about it. Let me go check your stand-up. And then they're like, hold on, you're shit. But I don't think a lot of people were saying he was shit loudly from the rooftops. No. I think in recent years, it's kind of, become the thing that people have said. But they've also saying as a way to kind of dunk on him because of all the other things that he does. But I don't think it was a collective belief was that, oh yeah, he's the most unfunny one. No. But I think with the crazy thing with Rogan is, the unfortunate thing for him is that with every special that comes out, people realize how more and more unfunny he is. That's the sad thing. With every special, it's not even like, because I was hoping, fucking just hoping for hoping's sake that he would prove people wrong this special. That's what I was hoping. He just come out with like a good yes and set, But nah, that didn't happen. Instead, we got what we got, which was interesting, to say the least.
Vart. Have you heard of Stephen Pressfield?
All of that, all just to steal a joke from Brendan Schaub's infamous 25 minutes, the lowest rated special of all time. Just reuse your own jokes, mix in yelling about Rona, trans issues, and your boat should be on fire. While Joe doesn't look at the comments or critics, almost every comment on his Instagram didn't enjoy the special. Well, besides Schultz and Akash doing a bit of network glazing. But in 2018 for his last special, the comments were positive, the trailer and promotion went well. Now the YouTubers discussing the special get more views. Reverse marketing. Elephant Graveyard's Rogan video went all out. One of the best special breakdowns out there if you're after cinematic sarcasm. Rogan's always relied on his Sam Kinison yell comedy influence, and wherever he got this from. The comedy gods are...
I wonder really, and I would love to ask him as well. Maybe his answer will be like, it kills on the road. But I think the Sam Kinison thing made sense in the beginning because he came up watching Sam Kinison, idolizing him to a certain extent. So I understand your style being dictated by the people you came up with in some regard. But over time, especially nowadays where I feel like he might be the only like screamy comedian. Everyone's kind of like calm. Everyone's kind of like calm on stage. They're talking like their normal speaking voice for the most part. That's okay. Then why not just like change how you deliver your jokes on stage? Instead of still doing the shouty thing. But maybe he feels the shouty thing is his style because it matches how he looks. I'm high energy, I'm jacked, maybe that's part of it. But I've always wondered that why didn't, I understand why he did the Sam Kinison thing in the beginning. But why don't you just change it now and just, be a different person?
I guess. But the act is basically the exact talking points Joe's said on the podcast for the past 5 to 10 years and was really hard to get through. Yelling his beliefs to a crowd that agrees, so he gets these, yay, he said my thing, cheers.
The flu during COVID,
Followed by silence when people get confused about where the joke is.
Trans women are women, how about most? You gotta leave room for crazy. Plus, I'm sorry!
But one way or another, most people took this special as old man yells at clouds. And only Shane Gillis is willing to call it out.
Joe Rogan is an absolute joke and a complete pussy, and if I ever saw him, I would whoop his bitch ass. What a coward, Joe Rogan. What a guy. What a great guy. What an amazing American this man is. Joe Rogan, what a true patriot. Great man. I would never say anything negative about this man.
Just kidding. Yes, this was a bit, but that's basically how each person Joe put on through exposure treats him. These articles of joke theft will be ignored, Rogan won't be called out for it. Legends like Harlan Williams in the back there got close as he has no need to appease for a platform, but his approach was definitely indirect. Only Trump calls out Joe for endorsing RFK Jr.
Yeah, that RFK Jr. walk back still fucking broke my heart to this day. Not because I care about RFK Jr., not because I care about American politics in the slightest, I don't. What broke my heart was just the realization that, shit, even if you got fuck you money, you still have a boss. You still have to answer to somebody. There's no stopping you being answered. Like, the only way you can not be answerable to somebody is if, like, you limit the amount of money you're trying to make, so you don't have many people kind of, you know, with your interest at the heart or something. But that's what broke my heart. Like, he still had to, like, walk stuff back, and it's like, why? You've made all this money. Surely you can do whatever the fuck you want. Nope. Nope.
Joys of an election year saying Cho will be booed at the UFC. I wonder who has more pull with the UFC crowd, Trump or Joe? Trump-wise, he responded saying the assassination was the most American thing of all time, which is pretty hard to argue with.
RFK Jr.'s a good person. Don't get your political info from me. Get it from the beacon of truth, political expert Dave Smith.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Great tip. As the almost billion-dollar man who didn't need to release this at all had nobody to tell him that, hey, some of these bits are repeated, as good friends in comedy usually do. But money doesn't buy you truth. The further you climb, the less likely people are to say no. The yes man syndrome is a terrible curse. Drake this year showed us how bad that can truly be. Solitude is better than yes men, but fame leads to armed guards, as Joe Rogan has and probably needs based on history. But that separates Rogan.
Yo, big up I am Sin. Well, he got FU money, but his brand is for the people, being so-called in the middle. That's why he did it. Nah, I get that, but I don't know. I would argue against that. I would say that RFK Jr. take that he had, or the endorsement, was quite middle of the road. If you're gonna give a middle of the road if you're gonna give a sit on the fence answer to who you're gonna vote for in upcoming elections in the United States, it would be RFK Jr. If you're gonna do that, honestly, I swear to God, it would be RFK, because then at least, you know.
Rogan from living life in a more humble way, like Chappelle in Ohio, or many other comedians who have escaped the limelight, and insulates him from the 0% Rotten Tomatoes score. But that's just lefty critics, of course. The audience will like it, surely. 53%. Maybe Google can save us? Nope, 54%. 4.9 out of 10 is a step up on a 1.1 out of 10, I suppose, but almost every other special he had was a 7 and above. Of course, it's just people who submitted a review. Who cares? But for every other special he's released to be positive, and this one to be an absolute mess, it's warning signs when his own fans are starting to see through the biggest podcaster's comedy ability. But that's okay, Joe doesn't read the comments, never reads anything about himself online.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, comments. Comments are a weird thing.
I mean, it is. But like you say, and here's the rub, you can just not read them. You know, the last time I came on your show when Donnell was here, and I f***ed up, I looked at the comments section. I'll never do that shit again.
Most comedy gatekeepers were legends.
Yo, big up Joe Mibson. Delete all channels related to this crap long ago. How can you listen to year after year after year to these angst grifters? Yeah, it is what it is, man. We've all got our things, innit? For me, I said there's plenty of times, I don't watch reality TV shows. I think they're pretty shit, personally. But I know people do like them, so I let people enjoy them. But I guess my version of reality TV, in that kind of occupies my shit content that does nothing for my life but still gives me entertainment, is all this comedy podcast shit. In my opinion, that's what fits that hole, that reality TV shaped hole in my life. I don't watch 13 Day Fiance. I don't watch Love Is Blind. I don't watch Love Island or Big Brother. All these, I don't watch any of that shit. But I do spend an exorbitant amount of time mulling over these shitty comedy podcasts, you know, and watching comedy podcast compilations and shit. Like, I spend too long on this sort of shit, unfortunately.
Not podcast and UFC commentators, so the comedy scene being determined by Mr. Burn the Boats hasn't gone over well with everybody. It's hard when the guy who's known for missing jokes is the leader of the new comedy movement, and a spot on his show means the birth of your career, and 6 figures on Patreon a month if you've got the talent to back it up. A strange position to end up in, and the lack of harmony between his position and ability has finally come to a halt online. Then there's the multiple lawsuits.
But I wonder why. I wonder why now. That's a good point he made. The lack of ability, but his fame has finally come to a head now. But I wonder why now. It's just because he's got too much attention on him, too much money, all the articles and shit. People are like looking, like scrutinizing a bit more, because if you believe people in the stream chat, which I believe you guys, some of you guys have said you've never found him funny. So the consensus has been this isn't new. I think somebody even said, I think even this guy mentioned it. I think somebody mentioned in my Discord, join Discord if you haven't already. But I think somebody mentioned in my Discord that he might have like one good special. I think they said it was the one like in 2006. I think so. I think someone said Rogan's got like a 2006 special that is pretty decent, but they said the rest of it is shit. If that's the case, then like how did he fly under the radar? But I wonder if he flew under the radar before Spotify. He took that Spotify money and it didn't come without consequences, because Spotify money increased his profile, you know, and like exposed him literally to the entire world. So maybe when you get exposed to the entire world, that opens you up to other things as well that you probably wouldn't have ever guessed. But it's pretty wild, man. It's pretty fucking wild.
In the weeks prior, I mean, goddamn, everybody getting sued these days. Onnit or Alpha Brain are familiar supplement sponsors if you've heard any Rogan episode before, or some swear by the effects of nootropics.
Alpha Brain is one of the most important supplements that I've ever found.
That's so rude. That's so rude, but probably more accurate than he would like, you know? That is so rude, but so accurate than what he would like. Joe Mibson, before I watched you like half a year ago, I didn't even know Joe Rogan is supposed to be a comic. Fucking hell. I wonder how many people out there actually have the same view. I wonder how many people were like, looks at Instagram feed like, hold on, what? You got a Netflix special? How? Why? They didn't have no idea. They completely missed that arc. Oh, because I think there's a lot of people in the Joe Rogan subreddit who hate the comedy chat. But I swear to God, I don't even remember it. I'm so tuned into Joe Rogan, when he starts talking about comedy and how good his comedy story is, my mind kind of just tunes it out. And whenever they pick up the conversation again, talking about random things, I tune back in. I swear, I don't even notice it. And I think other people are the same. They probably just tune out what they don't want to hear. So when he starts talking about sets and reps and going up here, going up there, people just like, good, turn off. And then when he talks about something that they want to hear about, good, they turn on again. So they were generally surprised when they saw him doing a stand-up special. They're like, hold on, I didn't know you do stand-up.
Found ever in my life, if not the most important one, and the one that I cherish the most.
After many years of advertising.
Okay, big up. I am Cincinnati, man, cool. No, it's because he's been he's been on for years. Times change. I think that's it. Everyone got more of a voice due to yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because before it was limited to mostly the forums, the Joe Rogan forums, which he shut down. Then it was only limited to the Reddit, and now it's like everywhere. Now there's people like bashing him on the comment section on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. There's channels all over the place now doing dedicated, specific niche comedy podcast commentary. So yeah, you're right. It's just the times have changed, and unfortunately, Brent, you know, for Rogan, he hasn't got funnier, and now everyone's seen it. It's like, ooh.
On the show, it's surprising it took so long for the marketing to be questioned legally. Ultimately sued for an unknown amount for
hey yo, pick up young old fires, wagwan.
False advertising. In between getting angry about this story,
they let a there's apparently at least two transgender boxers. that are fighting in women's boxing. At least today, you can kind of get a sense of how things are true or not true based on really intelligent people that you know that are online that are talking about them. And you go, no, it's actually this. Like with that feed.
I like how he always, whenever Rogan gets duped by like fake news online, he always tries to make it seem like, oh, it was really sophisticated though. It caught me out. Look at me, and I'm really intelligent. It caught me out. It's like, nah, bro, you're a boomer. You're a dum-dum. Most of us know the stuff that you're reading online is fake. You can just quickly check it out. But he tries to make it look like, oh man, I got duped by something very, very sophisticated. And it's like, it wasn't sophisticated. You just didn't read it properly. And you believed it because it confirmed your bias. That's it.
Female boxer.
While completely ignoring this guy.
Exactly.
But not to worry, this really shouldn't hurt Joe at all. It's just crazy that so much of his fan base wasn't impressed with the special when it's not that much different to what was praised in the years prior. All good though. Joe will take another 250 mil, become a billionaire, and keep roundhousing his silk sheets until the end. And thank you for watching.
Jokes, folks, just jokes.
But to be fair, I think that's the way. That's the American way. That's the American dream. That's the king grift. That's the ultimate grift. That's the ultimate hustle. Become famous in one field and then use that fame to legitimize everything else that you do. That's it. Not about, oh, becoming a good comedian. No, fuck that. I'm going to become famous first, doing something else, and then when I pick up the, you know, boom. Come on, man. Big up my guy, Retroactive. Big up Retroactive. Make sure you like his channel. He's fucking brilliant. Does great videos, great commentary, compilation-y type of videos that obviously we saw here. Big up him. I actually want to check out this. Big up my guy, Comedy Enforcement. I didn't know Shorts was I didn't know I spoke about Shorts on here. Let me click this quickly. This wasn't on the docket, but let me see what this is saying. YouTubers call out Andrew Schultz on the Raw Talk podcast, I'm assuming. Bradley Martin, and the other guy, I forgot his name again, and Ethan Klein. Let's see what they're saying about our guy Schultz. Bada bing, bada bing. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Bada bing, bada boo.
Sure, but I think what changed is I've learned a lot about Schultz, and I think he's actually an asshole.
Yeah, no, I was just curious if like this is something you're actually
wow.
Like, the trend, or this is a genuine.
No, it's a genuine feeling. I feel like that one is more. That's a sourced, informed opinion that I don't like him.
Oh,
but anyway,
look.
it doesn't matter. You can ask.
Oh wow,
exactly. You can ask bad questions.
Ethan Klein lost a bit of weight, and now he's suddenly crossing his legs. Hey, now we got Metropolitan Ethan Klein, eh? He suddenly lost a couple of lbs, and now he's crossing his legs like he's sitting outside of a Parisian fucking cafe. You gotta fucking love it.
It's not like the end of the world. You gotta learn somehow.
Yeah.
I sucked at podcasting for the first like 5 years.
So you're saying I was bad for a while?
I haven't seen any. I mean, certainly it wasn't a great question. But that's okay. But that's okay.
My only beef with Schultz is that I went on his podcast almost 3 years ago now, and he's like, yeah, when I come to LA, I'll come to yours, and he hasn't.
That's the kind of guy he is. He's a big time guy. Like all of a sudden, he won't shut the fuck up about selling Madison Square Garden and like that he's.
Wow, they're actually dunking on Schultz a lot, isn't it? Fucking hell, man! I didn't know Ethan Klein had this much beef with Schultz or Bradley Martin. To be fair, what Bradley Martin said is that's the type of like LA Hollywood entertainment big time shit that would drive me nuts. I think that's why nuts. I think that's why I don't even bother having to get guests. Honestly. That's why I don't even bother trying to like interview people and shit, because my feelings would get hurt if somebody turned me down, you know, legitimately, or if they flaked to me or something. My feelings would get hurt, so I'd rather just do it by myself. So, but I understand also you shouldn't get your feelings hurt. It's never personal. Maybe somebody had something come up, and it's kind of part of the game and shit. So I understand. I completely understand what they mean here. Completely understand.
He acts like he's the biggest coming to comedy.
So a few days ago, Bradley Martin had Ethan Klein from the H3 podcast and Steiny on the show.
Oh,
and within the first
he grew his hair, huh? Is his hair grown, or has he changed his hair color? Or am I bugging out? I ain't watched the video in a while, but has Comedy Enforcement's hair grown? Or he changed his haircut? It looks good, innit? He looks good. Well gone.
And they started talking about Andrew Schultz and pretty much bonded over how much they disliked them. Now, to be fair, they did bring up some legit and valid criticism. For example, Bradley Martin talking about how he did the Fliggin' podcast. Andrew Schultz promised to do Raw Talk whenever he went to LA and then completely ghosted him, which is pretty up. However, what I thought was interesting, and I might get some heat for this because Steiny's audience has grown over the past year, but I think it's only fair that we call out that it's been way over a year since the whole Nelk Boys unreleased podcast episode, the whole drama happened. And since then, he has tried a couple times to rewrite the narrative or tell a different story to try and avoid taking accountability for being a bad co-host. And now it does seem like he's trying to take advantage of the recent...
I don't even think Steiny was a bad co-host. They just didn't vibe. It's perfectly okay. They just didn't click. Schultz and that Steiny guy just don't seem like they'd be friends. You know, sometimes it happens in life. You cross paths with somebody, it's like, that's not your guy. It is what it is. But I don't even think it was a bad podcasting thing, because I don't think any of those guys are like expert level podcasters, right? The Nelk Boys. They're just lads who go out and have fun and record it. So I think that was mostly Steiny. Steiny's problem was that he just didn't get on with Schultz, and they couldn't even they're so opposites of each other that they couldn't even fake get on for the cameras, you know? So that's probably the issues.
Andrew Schultz hate to try and change the narrative and pretend like he did nothing wrong, because on that recent podcast episode, he actually went as far as to lie about what actually happened. And the fact that neither Ethan Klein or Bradley called it out was pretty insane. So let's get started.
I think that I was just riffing off that and being like, who the is this Steiny guy? And trying to be funny mostly.
Sure.
But I think what changed is I've learned a lot about Schultz, and I think he's actually an asshole. And also
what makes you think that?
I've seen the way he talks to his guests. He's been in things with like a few guests where he just comes off as such a asshole. And I mean, I off the top of my head, I can't list them. I could certainly recall them if I thought about it for a minute. But when I go back and watch yours,
Whitney Cummings,
that one was just
Shane
so
Gillis, maybe.
well. And then the one where he was trying to pressure academics to take the
was
one
of them is about to be passed out.
Try one of these.
What is this? That's some weed shit. I'm good.
It's not weed. It's a Zyn. It's nicotine.
Oh hell no.
No.
You're gonna be hooked. I'm good.
It's not about a hook.
You won't get hooked.
Hell no. I'm good.
It's like a dip.
No.
He keeps saying no, and they just keep trying to force him into it, man. Peer pressure's fucked.
Try it.
No,
Will you just try it?
I got addictive personality for real.
This is not going to make you addicted.
No. Like I have a really addictive.
Just try the white boy shit for one. Why are you so afraid? We drank Hennessy the whole time. We finished a whole.
No. I get it.
What is this?
That's a bottle. That's a bottle.
Is that a fifth? Why not just try one?
No, because I'm gonna be addicted.
You're not gonna be addicted. It's such a stupid thing to think.
And when you see
also,
me,
you're probably an alcoholic anyway. So what are you concerned about? Zyn for probably.
So all right, so hold on. Let me ask you a question, Akash. When you see me,
I didn't see that one. See, that's my whole thing.
It was really like. So anyway, going back and watching that interaction, I feel like I can see it more clearly that like he's being such a colossal douche to you.
Yeah.
And totally unwarranted. I don't know why he had to. So I'm on your side, and I apologize, especially if you're going through it.
You see what's happening right now?
I do hate to make people feel worse when they're in a bad spot, and like.
Now, if you're not familiar with the whole drama that happened between Andrew Schultz and the Nelk Boys or the Full Send podcast last year, I'll give you a quick summary. And I do like to take a little bit of credit for this, even though some people don't like it, because essentially what happened was that last year I was randomly watching.
Talk your shit, comedy enforcement. Talk your shit. Let your nuts hang, comedy enforcement. Let your fucking nuts hang. Remind them who you are, huh? Remind them who you are. Some people don't like it, but they should eat my dick. Say that, bro. Say that.
An episode of the Iced Coffee Hour, and they had the Nelk Boys president / partner, who is someone that was very high in the Nelk Boys team. And by the way, when I was listening, I wasn't expecting any conversations to be had about stand-up comedy or podcasting, obviously. However, towards the end, I don't remember if it was Graham Stephan or the co-host Jax, but one of them asked a very, very important question and got one of the best answers ever, because they basically asked if they had ever scrapped a podcast episode or if anything had ever gone wrong on a podcast episode, to which the Nelk Boys president hesitated a little bit and then responded by explaining that they did have to scrap an episode in which Steiny got completely destroyed, and he ended up revealing that it was an episode with Andrew Schultz. So naturally, when I first heard that, I was very, very curious to know what happened and had so many questions. And then we made a video talking about it, going over what they said on that podcast episode. And I want to make it very clear that all the credit goes to the Iced Coffee Hour. That's 100% on them. And it's interesting that they actually, sparked a pretty big drama in the comedy world while being a finance podcast. Okay. However, the credit that I like to take is just for finding that and then putting it out very, very quickly. However, one of the clips that was going around on Reddit and online was a clip that we edited that was used in our video, and that eventually Andrew Schultz showed on the Flagrant podcast when responding to the Nelk Boys. And Andrew Schultz's response was basically telling the Nelk Boys to release that podcast episode that everyone was talking about. And they did. They didn't upload it to their main YouTube channel, but they did on Twitter, and then it went super viral. And funny enough, not only did it go viral within the comedy and podcast community, but also everywhere else on YouTube and online. And to be honest, back when that happened, the week after was really, really interesting and fun, unless you were Steiny, of course. I mean, it wasn't really that bad. It was just fun in terms of it being fun to watch.
I think they even said in the clip it was like a weird moment. The energy was just kind of off, and like we were just doing the interview and like randomly like producers would come in and like angle the Happy Dad cans like to the camera so the logo was facing the can, and I'd be like in the middle of like telling a story or explaining something.
It's like a check drop.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I'd be like,
you hate those.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was just one of those things where it's like, I'm in this moment where like, okay, I don't think these guys know who I am. There are moments where like none of us talked.
Okay.
Like we just sit there like this, and I'd be like, what is happening right now? So like, and then the logo thing, and I was just like, what is it? Like, the beautiful thing about a podcast is when you have like genuine interest in someone, you get to sit across from them and like ask all your questions and like, get to the bottom of theories. Or if you hate someone, you get to confront them about something. It's just like this beautiful thing. And in the moment where they're moving the logo, I'm like, am I doing a commercial for Happy Dad and not getting paid for it? Like, what is going on right now? So I think I was just like, what is going on right here?
Well, you did research.
So I think it was just like, and then I think maybe Steiny asked me one more question, and it could have been genuine from him, but it felt like trolling. And I was like, who is this Chicken McNugget asking me shit? like who is this guy?
I'm trying to film a commercial.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a Happy Dad. I'm trying to sell something. I'm doing my best.
I'm not gonna lie, I could understand why him and Ethan don't get on personality-wise, because I don't watch much Schultz content, but just being reminded of how he talks, the way he talks, his cadence, the things he says, his attitude. I'm not surprised that him and Ethan Klein don't get along. It's no surprise at all.
Yeah. Okay, to sell the spike seltzers.
However, once again, Andrew Schultz has changed so much in the past couple of years that I highly doubt that he would ever respond to YouTube drama ever again, which is pretty sad. Well, I mean, it's a silly word, but keep in mind that for the past couple of years, Andrew Schultz has been involved in a lot of dramas. For example, the drama with Fresh and Fit, the drama with the Nelk Boys, and also a lot of people forget about this one, but Andrew Schultz also had Brendan Schaub on the podcast and, asked him about the truck walk. However, when it comes to Steiny, we mentioned this back when it happened, and I still have the same take, which is that even though Steiny wants to blame Steve Will Do It or Kyle for not having a lot of input on that podcast episode, at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from the fact that he was a horrible co-host on that episode. And just because you're asking more questions or talking more than Kyle or Steve Will Do It doesn't necessarily mean that those questions are good or that you're doing a good job. Because if you go back and watch that episode again, it was very clear that not only was Steiny not impressed with Andrew Schultz, with who Andrew Schultz was, and not really interested with the conversation.
I like you, but skip ahead a little bit. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
With Schultz is that I went on his podcast almost 3 years ago now, and he's like, "Yeah, when I come to LA, I'll come to yours," and he hasn't.
That's the kind of guy he is. He's a big time guy. Like all of a sudden, he won't shut the up about selling Madison Square Garden and like that he acts like he's the biggest coming to comedy, and like he'll do your show or you'll do his show, and then a year later he's like, I'm too big for Bradley. He's that kind of guy.
Now, what's really interesting is that back when the Nelk Boys released that episode,
that's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. R.I.P. 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 Anyways, let's move on from that one. Big up Comedy Enforcement. Big up my guy Comedy Enforcement. Big up my guy Comedy Enforcement. All right, cool. Let's move on. Let's check some. Actually, let me close the blinds first before I move on, because it's absolutely burning at the side of my face right now. Bear with me one moment as I change these fucking blinds. Bear with me. Actually, let me leave on Comedy Enforcement while I change the blinds. Okay, cool.
everyone, the entire internet, including Ethan Klein, went in on Steiny and were pretty harsh with what they said about him. So, you know, now seeing him do a complete 180 in such a short amount of a time was really odd. And although there is a chance that maybe Ethan Klein was just being way too nice and not trying to trash Steiny to his face on Bradley's podcast, I think it is fair that we call out some things that were absolutely insane and obviously not true. Because once again, if you rewatch that podcast episode, it's very clear that Andrew Schultz wasn't really in the wrong. And the whole vibe from Kyle not really asking questions, Steve will do it being distracted, and Steiny asking the dumbest questions ever. Again, it wasn't really a good podcast to have Andrew Schultz on, because if anything, Andrew Schultz was surprisingly the one being nice and, you know, trying to give long answers and thoughtful answers, while everyone else wasn't really feeling the whole conversation. And also, Andrew Schultz was answering a lot of the questions, even though most of them were really, really bad. For example, Steiny asking him if he had ever done crowd work, which, you know, obviously that's what Andrew Schultz blew up from. And at some point, Steiny actually was texting in the middle of the podcast, not listening to anything that Andrew Schultz was saying. Andrew Schultz nicely called it out, and then Steiny.
Anyways, let's move on. Big up Comedy Enforcement. Big up Comedy Enforcement. Appreciate that guy. Appreciate that guy. Appreciate that guy. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. You seen this? You seen this? Let's go through some clips catching the Friday Kids subreddit. Let's see what they're talking about here. Let's see this post. Professional actor B definitely didn't embellish the Starbucks story. Let's see this. What's this about? Let's move on from there. When I saw this jacket, I knew I had to have it. When I was in middle school, I was nicknamed Hollywood. I started in the entertainment industry at the age of 9. I knew it was all I wanted to do. The business has been amazing for me, living out my dreams, doing things I never imagined, and I'm very thankful for all the opportunities I've gotten. Hollywood, you're a special place in my heart. When I say they're perfect for each other, you guys always laugh at me, but this is another example. Those guys are perfect for each other, man. You could never, I don't think you'll find a more well-suited couple than this woman and Brendan. They're just perfect for each other. And I won't have anybody disagree with me. You're not allowed to disagree with me. They are just fucking perfect. Simple, they're perfect for each other. Like, and again, having a brain like this must be so much fun. Having a brain like this must be so much fun. You just chill out, you hang out, you live your life, you pop out babies, you wear cool shit and you keep it moving. No big lofty ambitions. You know exactly what your role is. You play it well. You know? Life like this must be super fun. I'm not going to lie. She's fucking living the life. She's absolutely living the life. So big up Hollywood. Big up Hollywood. Moving on. Oh yeah, you got to like this one, innit? 8 inches deep. 8 inches deep. Look at that moose knuckle, mate. Look at that absolute moose knuckle. And look at the reactions, eh? Look at the reactions to the absolute moose knuckle. Look at that, yeah? Look at those reactions to that absolute moose knuckle. It's fucking wild. The mangina. has startled not only Rogan but also the wife. Absolutely crazy, man. Jesus Christ. To this day, I don't even know if it's real. To this day, I don't know if this is a Photoshop or if this is real. I swear, to this day, I don't know if that's a Photoshop or if it's real. Because it's so well done. And it could be something that could be real too. You know, that's the thing. Oh, mate. Honestly, man. Honestly. I fucking love these posts. Yeah, we love so much, bro. Honestly, I fucking love these posts so fucking much. But yeah, big up NJ Ranger. Wild one, NJ Ranger. Wild one, pre-ban for loco. Wild one, like the stream. Don't be lame. Don't be tight. Don't be stingy. Like the stream. Cool. Next clip. Let's do this one. This one is called Next Time Papa Defends Mexicans Honor at Starbucks. Let's see what this is saying. What's she talking about now?
My mind, I was like, wow, this guy just doesn't know who he's dealing with. Oh yeah? Here's my husband. Deal with that beast. Good luck.
She probably watches. I've got a feeling she might watch some of Brendan's fights, you know. She might have watched some of his fights. Like, so she might watch them on repeat. You know, checking his form and stuff. Just to be sure. So she probably gauges who she could mess with in real life, right? She probably gauges the men she can mess with in real life. And if it's a man that she feels like, yo, big up
That's
NJ.
me nuts.
Yeah, that's me. Big up NJ Ranger. That's me nuts, exactly. I've got a feeling that Brendan's wife probably watches all his fights and probably judges or decides whether or not she should call Brendan based on the kind of guy that she meets, you know, or bumps into or has an argument with. Because of the fights that she's watched, she'll probably call out who Brendan would fucking bang up and stuff. But still, you know, oh, fucking brilliant.
See you in the street, well, there's gonna be repercussions.
Unless you have a gun, there is no way on earth you're going to be able to defeat the beast of a husband that I have.
Name the water, Bappa.
Oops. Would you the homeless cat? Yes.
Big up the guys. I love her face. With your Dr. Homeless Cat, she's so fucking, you know, there's nothing going up there, isn't it? Like, yes! Like, not knowing it's a troll. I love this, man.
Oops. Would you the homeless cat? Yes. Would you the homeless cat? Yes.
I'm a nice person. Yes. It's like, babe, come on, man. You gotta be a bit plugged in.
Would you the homeless cat? Yes.
Big up her. 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 Cool. Moving on. We got another one. Starbucks Saga the movie. Let's see this one. Starbucks Saga the movie. Let's see what one for this one.
Go.
Oh, this is that film, innit? Yeah, I remember this film. What's that film called again? The one with the guy, what's his name? From Gladiator. And he plays the guy that fucking is, you know, consumed with road rage. I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it's watchable. Wouldn't say it's great or good, it's watchable.
Oh, of course, yeah.
The chummy in the back. Oh my God, what a nice detail. The chombi in the back seat. The chombi in the back seat. What an amazing detail.
I don't even get a courtesy tap first.
You are scaring my kids. You need to back up.
You know what a courtesy tap is, young man? Sounds like this. It's live, it's friendly, just like you're trying to get somebody's attention. I'm sure that's what your mom meant.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think you really know what a bad day is.
You're gonna regret you said that in about 1 minute.
You're gonna fucking learn.
I know this video, in hindsight, got him a lot of views and probably did a lot of good for him with monetarily wise, maybe sponsors shit. But looking back, it was pretty redacted, isn't it? It still is redacted, I know, but looking back, it's pretty redacted that he shared this. Maybe one of the most embarrassing videos ever. Like, but that's the thing I think that makes Brendan successful and makes most people online more successful than probably what we are or what I am and other people are. If you don't have shame, you can be super successful online. Like, if you have no ability to be embarrassed, you can be successful, because a regular person probably would be like a bit ashamed to post that they totaled and flipped their very expensive pickup truck, very nice pickup truck, by doing a donut that looked redacted because you were stationary and you didn't really know what you're doing. You turned the steering wheel too tightly. You put your foot on the throttle, sorry, and of course you flipped it, especially with it being race suspension. You basically did it to yourself, and it kind of illustrates how bad of a driver you are in general, and how little you really understand about cars. You wouldn't want to post this. You'd be kind of ashamed, you know. You kind of want to lie and say, "Oh, you got T-boned driving through the sand dune somewhere or some shit," or you like flipped your car rolling off a hill or jumping off a hill, but you wouldn't want to post that. So the fact that he did post it kind of shows you that shit. He just doesn't get that we're laughing at him, not with him, innit? It's pretty wild that you'd post this, honestly. One more time.
I don't even think you really know what a bad day is.
You're gonna regret you said that in about 1 minute.
You're gonna fucking learn.
Starting emergency call.
Oh, mate. Imagine nearly dying because you tried to do a donut. Could you imagine nearly dying because you tried to do a donut? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Anyway, moving on. Let's play this video. Brendan Schaub's Polaris RZR Pro R build to race the California 300. So Brendan's actually taking this whole like race car driver thing LARP seriously. He legitimately is taking it seriously. So he's entering something called the California 300. I don't really know what that is, so let me try and Google it. What is the California 300? He's actually taking this stuff seriously. So the California 300 is a world-class off-road desert built to showcase the best off-road races in the world. Or racers, sorry, in the world. Who won it? Someone called Adam Householder won it last year. There's the pictures of it and shit. You see the accounts. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm curious to see how this works for him anyway. This whole new race car lap. Let's see what I won. You got Brendan. That's all he does, isn't it? That's all he does. That's all he does with builds. That's all he does. That's all he does. Point. Yeah, could you move that there? Move that over there. No, I want the red seats. Yeah, I want the red seats, please. Yeah, the red ones. That never gets his hands dirty.
What's up, guys? I'm Brendan Schaub. I'm at right now in SoCal, picking up my Polaris Pro R. It's been a long time coming, and this thing, out of the box, is badass. But it's not race ready. But let us show you how easy it is to make this thing race ready for the California 300.
To be fair, it does look kind of badass. His driving skills aside, it does look fucking hard, doesn't it? That looks so fucking cool. Wow. I love it. That might be the best car he has. It's not fucking, I don't know if it's road legal. I don't know if it is. But that might be his best car. Of all the cars that he has, that might be his best one.
All right, so the first stop might be the most important, is it's all about safety. If you're gonna do some off-road racing, you gotta...
So he's talking more. He's talking more on camera on this random channel called Unlimited Road Off-Road Racing than he does in his own channel. Even in his own channel, he doesn't do this much voiceover work. Wow.
Get the proper roll cage, a race roll cage. We came to the best of the best. We're at Cage Works. They're installing the best roll cage you can get for racing. And I need this because I've been known to flip a truck or two.
You flipped one.
So we need safety. This is it.
That's a good example of how he lies though, right? There's truth in what he said, but he embellished it just because. I've been known to flip a truck or two. You mean what? You mean like one? Come on.
Cage Works, best of the best. Yeah, this is a small one for Calvin. That one. All right, for the next stop, we're...
Hold on. Was that another Hispanic man that loves Brendan? Yeah, man, like, I don't know what it is about the Hispanics and the Latinos who fucking love Brendan. Like, he's that popularity is interesting, isn't it? I wonder why. I'd love to know why. Maybe it's just the look. Maybe when he first came to UFC, he's called Big Brown. Maybe a lot of the people thought he was actually Mexican and actually brown. I don't know, but all of his fans all looked alike. It's pretty wild.
All right, for the next stop, we're here at PRP because we started with safety. Safety continues, but this is my favorite part of all this. This is my boy Justin. He's the man at PRP. He's the brains behind the operation, and I get to customize my race seats in the Polaris Pro R. And I'm gonna tell you now, man, I'm not gonna just leave it regular, like just a normal color. I like to get a little crazy.
I hope so. That's the best part. You guys really get to customize and go wild and out. So you get to add your logo to it, which I know you're excited about, and we're gonna make it pop, bro.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Let's go check it out.
Let's get to it.
All right, my man. So I just got done getting a full tour. I mean, super detailed tour. You know your stuff here at PRP. I mean, my favorite part is you guys do everything in-house.
Yes,
everything. Sir. Everything's American made, which is rare. And man, I'm
American made. Whites only. Whites only, says this guy that looks like that. Whites only, American made, eh?
We're excited to get this started.
Yeah, the team back there was stoked to have you back there. I mean, they were all jazzed that we're gonna get to do a set of seats for you, and we're gonna knock them out of the park, bro.
Love it, man. I can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. Next time you guys see me, I'll be in my custom seats. Justin's gonna be responsible for them turning out badass. If not, I'm gonna be super sad. That's it, dude. No. Super sad.
Is that the roll cage?
What's up, guys? I am here with Braden Baker. He is the man here at River Shore Motorsports. He's gonna help us with the build, and good Lord, do I need his help. This this genius here is gonna help us with the car. You're also gonna help me kind of learn to drive.
I don't know about that, but if I'm him, don't grab me like that, ever.
He's gonna help us.
Don't grab another man by his shoulder and his waist.
This kid, this.
What the fuck is that? What type of hold is that? Either tap me in the back, rub my hand, I don't know, rub my head or something. Lift my hand up in the air, but don't hold my shoulder, my left hand shoulder blade, and also put your hand, what, under my leg or something. Weird.
Genius here is going to help us with the car. You're also going to help me kind of learn to drive as well.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to show him some pointers of these new Polaris Pro Rs. They're an awesome machine, and can't wait to kind of get in the dirt with them and see what he thinks of these cars.
Is there a common mistake, like, because I've driven Can-Ams, I've driven certain Polarises, but never this one. Is there something that I should know right off the bat? I mean obviously don't flip it.
Oh my God, the flipping joke. God almighty, let it go, man. Tired.
Power in these cars, but I mean the handling out of these Polaris Pro Rs are next level, and just trying to find that fine line of driving it and what the car can take, and you'll find out real quick like what the limits are of these cars.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's important because my goal for the California 300 is to finish.
Oh yeah. The California 300 is such a rough race, and it's awesome. It's hard on your body, hard on the equipment, and just trying to get to the finish and trying to push the car but not push it too hard and find that fine line. And Barstow's really rough.
And that's why I'm here, my man. Yeah. Hopefully with your tips, I can finish this California 300.
Yeah, super stoked to show knowledge, and especially winning last year's California 300 overall, and sharing that, all that knowledge and
any build,
kind of how last year went, and show him.
We got to deal with the way it looks like. No build deals, just them waffling. No build deals.
Just a young off-road savant. What are you, 21?
21.
Wild, dude. Building your own freaking shit here. It's wild, dude. Wild. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, whatever. I'm just curious to know. Will he actually take it seriously and get lessons? It's in October. When's the race? It's October the 2nd. So Brendan will be racing sometime between October the 2nd and the 6th in California for the California 300. It would just be nice for a change. It's unlikely because this is Brendan, but it would be nice for a change if he did this properly. Like he actually went to go get some lessons. Imagine how much better that would be as a video. Like he's actually good at what he's doing, you know? Like he went to go get some lessons, he's driving the car around, blah, blah, blah. He's feeling good, feeling confident behind the wheel while he's driving it. You know? That'd be fucking sick to see, but it's not gonna happen because, you know, just the way he is, isn't it? Not gonna fucking happen. But I think that would be pretty sick. He was able to like, take that and do it properly. But hey, what can we do? What can we do? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nada, my friends. Absolutely nada. What time is it now? Okay, it's 2:30. I'm about to head out for now. I'll come back on the other side with another random show. I'm probably gonna do a Taz in between. Actually, there'll be a Taz. There'll be a Taz in between. The Rogan Patreon's gonna go up later today as well. If you want to check that out, and then I'll be back again for another random show on the other side. So I'm gonna love you and leave you guys for now, and I'll be back with 2 Taz, a Rogan, and a random show later. Okay? Okay? Cool. For those of you tuning in, make sure you like the stream down below. Like the stream down below. Don't be stingy. And I'll see you guys again, okay? Like the stream down below. And I'll see you guys again very, 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 very soon. But for now, peace, my friends. Peace. Yeah, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. Enjoy's right. Hit the fucking like. Don't be tight. Hit the like. Peace.